Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Around the Indoor Football World, where, as always, I'm joined by my trusty co-hosts. I got Cody below me, TJ Caddy Corner, and then Krish next to me. Super excited about today's show. We got a ton to talk about, whether it's the IFL, the NAL, the AAL, the TAL, the AF1. There's news in every one of these leagues that we're going to be addressing today, and pretty big news in every single one of these leagues. So stick with us, share this stream out, give it to all your buddies because trust me, there's a lot to talk about today. But before that, we'll do our little intro video and we'll get right into the topics for you this morning. All right, before we get into the topics for this morning, how are you guys doing this morning? Let's go to Cody first.
I'm doing fantastic. It's a beautiful morning here in Kansas City, and I wish I was in bed.
You wish you were where?
In bed.
Oh, that's fair.
I want to go lay with Betty White. That's what I named my bed.
Oh, all right. All righty then.
Beddy, Betty White. So.
Oh, makes sense. Makes sense. And when you put it that way. TJ, how are you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing good. I'm still tired and still recovering. I was still celebrating the Beefs win last night, so
Man, that was quite the celebration. Went on for like 6 days. Krish,
long awaited. It was long awaited.
Hey, a day for every loss up to that point. I guess that makes sense, right? Krish, how are you doing this morning, man?
Well, just finalizing my plans to get to the IFL Cup here in 15 days, I think. So I can't wait for Coach Davis to see what a real offense looks like. So excited for that.
All right. Already starting to poke the bear, and it's only 8:15. So, yeah, before we get to the big piece, the big topic before the IFL Cup, before we talk about the IFL Cup and the fact that a couple guys on this screen will be attending said cup, we're going to play a video that was shared with me that nobody on this panel or anybody out there in the ether that's watching with us has seen yet. So with that being said, pay close attention. There's a lot to absorb in this one. That's right. AAL has already signed their first 2027 expansion team. They're not ready to announce exactly who it is yet. So there was a few clues in that video that will tell you exactly where they're located, but you have to, do a little digging into the video. We'll play it again a couple times throughout today's show. But obviously, what are your guys' thoughts on the fact that it's May 2nd, and we're already announcing a first AAL expansion team for 2027. Let's go to Krish first on this one. I have a feeling he's going to have some interesting thoughts.
Yeah, I think it kind of debunks my theory that the Wheeling Miners and Columbus Lions are going to leave after 1 year. I still am holding on to that bet, though. But, no, I mean, it's big for the league, honestly. I think to announce expansion ahead of time, you build up a market and build up support. Same thing the IFL is doing. So I'm a huge fan of it, to be honest.
Absolutely. And I think the run up to, their launch is one of the big reasons why they're doing this so early. And actually there had been some talks about doing it even earlier. It got pushed back just to make sure everything was 100% sewn up. But I think everybody's going to be pretty thrilled when they hear the full picture of what's coming, which we can't give you everything yet. But if you kind of start doing a little bit of digging and, again, watch that video very closely, it'll give you a couple clues. But, TJ, what are your thoughts on already having a 2027 AAL expansion team coming?
I think it's great. Like you said, it's May 2nd of this season, and they're already announcing for next season. And, you even noted that they wanted to say it earlier, but they just wanted to hold off, make sure everything was 100%. I mean, that's exactly what you want. They're great at planning. They're great at doing things strategically, and they always put the health and importance of the league first. They're just checking off all the boxes on this one. I love it.
Yes, they definitely are, and they're sticking to that regional model. If you kind of watch the video, it says the team's coming to the Southeast region. So with that in mind, I mean, that kind of will hopefully make travel a little bit easier on Columbus, Mississippi, and hopefully only make this league more sustainable further on in the future. But Cody, what are your thoughts on the news today that we're already getting AAL expansion for 2027?
It's exactly what you want with any league. So kudos to the AAL for doing that. Wherever they put that, like bobber and fishhook, I can only assume that they're playing offshores in the Gulf of America. So it'll be weird to see them playing indoors offshore, but I got to look deeper into those clues and see where they're at. I do have a quick side note. Krish, did you lose a bet? Did you get a haircut or you shave it because of it?
No, I just wanted to shave it for the iPhone.
Okay, I didn't know if you lost a bet. I mean, you're privy to that, so I wanted to double check.
Here you go, Krish. This is for you, my friend. Roger Beck, Columbus going nowhere. So they already made a statement publicly on the team page, very, very clearly stating their goals for the future. But here is Roger once again saying that they're going nowhere. They plan to be in the AAL. So very excited about that as well. So we got Firebird Dave Williams checking in from Victory, New York. We have him also saying go Firebirds as per usual. Roger Beck checking in, let's go Lions. And then saying big AAL news, of course. That video that we just played, we were very lucky to be the first ones to be able to play it. Thank you to the AAL and their new team owner that will be coming in. But also this video, I have been told, will be playing in the next couple games for the AAL as well, in the Wheeling Minor Arena and then also in the Columbus Lions Arena. So it should be very cool to see that up on the Jumbotron for fans. In the alley, let's go, Mario. Sea-Dog the Goat checking in. Scott Levin checking in. Jeff and Kraken checking in. Got a bunch of people here this morning already. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button. We actually technically do not have a like on our side, so we'd really appreciate those. Morning, guys. And, man, Brian says, I'm with Krish on that prediction. Interesting. 1060 Designs checking in, which we will have a little bit of news involving him later as well. Congratulations to him, and we'll get to that in a little bit here. And then also Andrew Anderson checking in. And Team Trey Sports, Team No Soft, he says. So any other thoughts on the expansion before we move on to our other AAL topic for this morning?
The only thing I'd have to say to finish out the thought that I had was it's good to see leagues having such a long runway for some of these teams. And we've harped on it plenty of times in the past of just like, how can you get a team going within just a couple of months? I mean, and it's not a knock. It's going to sound like a knock, but we were talking about this probably, a couple months ago with some of the TAL teams, Nebraska, Memphis, Monroe, stuff like that. They've started to get their ducks in a row, but at the same time, like, you've got to provide such a long runway in order to get season tickets, to get fan interest, to get everything in place when it comes to a lot of these teams when you announce expansion. It's not just a team moving from league to league, but this is a team built from scratch. So you have to build it from scratch. You need enough time to do that.
Agreed. And I mean, I think that, as you mentioned, we've been very critical on some of these situations where these guys these teams are kind of pushing it to the last minute and trying to do the entire process in 1 to 2 to 3 months. And it's very difficult. Can it be done? Absolutely it can. Nothing's necessarily impossible, but at the same time, the longer you give yourself to get to that finish line, the more complete that process is going to be, the more time you have to work everything out. And hopefully, with any luck, the more partnerships you have come game day. So when the bills start rolling in for the team, you got that income coming back and kind of helping keep that team sustainable. So I'm very excited to see that this is how they're doing the expansion. I also know that this is only the first domino to fall in what could end up being quite a few teams, going one way or another. So we've talked a little bit about some of this situation with the 2027 season or 2026 off season. that there could be a lot of movement once again. So, here's kind of the first domino for all of that, and we'll see how that affects the rest of the teams, going forward. So, a couple more comments we'll get to, and then we'll kind of transition over to some other news. But Kevin O'Hanlon, the commissioner for the AL, Roger is a great owner. We appreciate his and his organization's support. Can definitely echo that as well. While I do agree time is a variable that could definitely determine the success of an expansion team, it's more important what the team does with that time. Well, I might be a little biased in this situation, but I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed once they start to see the rollout start to ramp up for this team. So it should be fun. So Monroe is so far behind. I agree with Cody. We'll talk to somebody that might have something to say about Monroe being so far behind a little bit later on the show. Brian, thank you for tuning in. I thought you weren't going to make it this morning, but one more time before we get into the next AAL topic, I want to play the video just for all the internet sleuths out there. All right, so a couple clues in there, like I said. Hopefully you guys caught them all. We might play it one more time, maybe a couple more times before the end of the show. But on that note,
I just noticed one.
Sorry, what was that?
Noticed a big one. I just noticed one that time
Okay,
around.
cool.
Or should I say I didn't notice something?
Ooh, quick question.
Interesting.
Quick question. Is it supposed to this might, I'm not going to say it's spoiling it, but the colors that they chose, is that supposed to be the colors of the team, or is it supposed to look more like the Matrix style, like data breach kind of thing?
I didn't ask that question. I think it's just generic colors just for the video, to be honest. But it's a good question.
If you're running kind of if you're running those Seattle Seahawks kind of colors, like that navy blue with like that neon green style or action green, whatever Seattle calls it, then, I like that. So
there you go. Good. Already some sleuthing going on and stuff that I had not even thought about when I initially saw the video. So the other big piece of news, which I thought was a rather big topic to discuss, is Shea Roberts, previously with the Colorado Spartans, has been released and turned up with the Jersey Bearcats in the AAL. So kind of a big addition there for the Jersey Bearcats. They solidify that offensive line after getting a win over Mississippi last week. So what are you guys' thoughts on Shea Roberts joining the Jersey Bearcats? We'll go to Krish first on this one.
Yeah, Shea's been released from Colorado here for a minute since the beginning of camp. They just never put it in the website, but he was up in Wyoming. He just played, I believe he played half or not, if all the season up in Wyoming with them. He's from that area. He lived in that area. He's from Jersey, so he gets to go back home and play in front of family and friends. He's a good player. I think he's a little washed up, to be honest. I think his good days are behind him. So, I hope he can. I hope he'll survive against that Columbus D line. I don't think he will. So.
It'll be interesting to see how he can fare. They definitely are a tough group to play against. TJ, any thoughts about Shea Roberts joining Jersey?
Yeah, I saw the post he made, the joke post about I'm free, so obviously he was waiting on this for a little bit, at least for them to make it official. But so that made it a little humorous. But no, I think it's a big signing for Jersey. Really, it's a bigger signing for the AAL as a whole, because they're getting, someone who has a recognizable name. They've been in the NAL. They've had other opportunities. So I think it also helps the league and put eyes on the AAL as a whole in terms of being able to get guys that have been around and can still play at a really good level, despite what Krish just said.
That's fair. Cody, any thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, to echo TJ's sentiment, it's a really good signing for the AAL. I think that can actually boost Jersey's profile a little bit, and that lets you know that the teams in the AAL are serious about this. Not to say that they were never serious to begin with, but to sit there and say we're going to go after players regardless if they're in the IFL, NAL, AF1, whatever the case could be, is like, we're going to put on a show. We're serious about this. We're going to prove it to you guys. Anyone that's doubting us, here we go. And I know it's just one signing, so maybe there's a little bit of an overreaction on my part. But at the same time, you're looking at that going, okay, these guys, they want to play. Let's take them seriously.
Agreed. And I think that's a good sentiment. A lot of people have immediately started dismissing the AAL in terms of talent. And I think that, some of the moves that have been made this offseason have kind of turned some heads. Getting a guy like Blaine Espinoza in Columbus, who played with Jacksonville. He's kind of a big name in terms of his brother and his success with Columbus in the past. A guy like Shea Roberts, who's kind of kicked around. He's played with Rapid City, played with Wyoming, Colorado, all these other different places. Yeah. So it definitely makes some sense getting in some veterans in there in the AAL, and not just simply the AAL2 players that are moving up, which a lot of people thought this would be the AAL2, just at a different level, which it has not turned out that way so far. So I think sorry, go ahead.
Not to cut you off, sorry, but I think I remember looking at Columbus's roster for their first or second game. They have McQuail Harvey and a couple of former IFL guys, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they're still on the roster or not, but those are big gets. Those are something that you can look at and be like, these guys played at some of the top levels of the indoor and arena game, and now they're playing here. So if they're serious about it, you got to take it seriously, man.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, little sneak preview, but we will be trying to get this gentleman on from Columbus. But Tyler Clark, that nose tackle, I'm fairly certain he could play in any indoor league, regardless of what team it may be. So I'm fairly certain there's probably already some teams trying to get in his ear about leaving right now, honestly. But definitely would look forward to having him on eventually, working that out with the Lions as we speak. But we should be joined by our first guest any minute. So with that in mind, we're going to hit a quick commercial break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about NAL.
I do want one more thing. Who do we got winning today? I know we got two.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, TJ. I'm blanking the games at the moment. Who do we have for the AL today? I know you just showed me that graphic.
Bearcats Miners.
That's right. Bearcats Miners, and then Columbus and Mississippi. So on that note, let's go to Krish first. Who do you have winning?
So I'll start with Columbus, Mississippi. I mean, I think Mississippi's the worst team in the AL. I think they proved that last week. They scored 8 points offensively, and that's 8 points against Jersey Bearcats. So if they're scoring 8 points against Jersey Bearcats, what's going to happen when you play Columbus? They might get shut out. I think Blaine Espinoza last week, he played passing-wise, he played horrible. But from a running perspective, he had a really good rushing game. I believe he ran for 4 touchdowns. So if that's the worst he played all season, and he still scored 5 touchdowns, that says something, about his play. And I think he's only going to get better and better, in Pierre Coffey's system. Pierre Coffey deserves so much credit for Columbus. Honestly, that new expansion team for the AAL next year, they should hire Pierre Coffey, because I believe he could be a really good offensive-minded head coach. I know he's local to Columbus, but that would be a good hire for them. But I think I really feel like 42. I say 51 to 7, 51 to 7, Columbus, and then for Wheeling, Jersey. This is a big game for Wheeling. Obviously, you don't want to start 0-2 behind the 8 ball. With the new quarterback Darryl Clark, I thought he played great last week. He has to. That is true. But I think Wheeling can win this game. I think if Wheeling loses, that's a bad look on the player personnel department, and the coaching staff if they lose to Jersey. So, but Jersey played them tight. I think it's going to be a tight game. I got 42 to 35 Wheeling. I think Wheeling will win. So those are my picks.
Fair enough. So Columbus and Wheeling for Krish. TJ, real quickly, who do you have in these games?
I have the Lions over the Wolfpack. Do I think they're going to play a lot better? Absolutely. Because Coach Strong, he's not going to like last week, so they're going to play a lot tougher. But I think Columbus is going to edge them out in that one. And then, man, the Miners and Bearcats, that's going to be a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Bearcats. Also in a close one, it might even be down to the final, couple seconds score. That's gonna be a good one.
Fair point for sure. Cody, who do you have in these games?
Give me the Miners, give me the Lions. I think that as we've talked from the offseason going into this season, I think we both have said, or not both, but like all of us have kind of said that it's going to kind of be Columbus and Wheeling for the championship at some point. I'm not taking my foot off the gas when it comes to that. There could be some noise from Jersey, but I like Wheeling. I like Columbus in both of these games. I think Columbus is probably going to win a little bit more, but that second game between Wheeling and Jersey could be close.
I actually am picking Jersey. I think Jersey's going to win this game. They looked really good against Mississippi, and I think people are discounting what Jersey did because they don't know what to think about Mississippi quite yet. And I think they're really kind of looking at Mississippi as maybe a cupcake team when I don't think they really are. And I think that was more an indication of how talented Jersey really is. So I think Jersey's going to come out and open up some eyes this week. And maybe they do ultimately fall down the Lions. We'll see, when that comes about. But I think Jersey has a really good chance of winning this game. As far as the Lions versus Mississippi, I think Mississippi's going to have made some improvements. I think they're going to come out and look a lot more competitive in this game. And I think ultimately it's going to be a lot closer than it was in the Jersey game. But I do ultimately have the Lions winning this one as well. But on that note, very excited to see both games. I think both of them are going to be great to watch. If I'm not mistaken, you can catch the game on the Columbus Lions YouTube channel for the Lions and Wolfpack, and then for the Miners and Bearcat, I believe you can catch that on the Miners YouTube channel. I will confirm that as we continue here. I feel like Sam is the AAL2 Adam Schefter. Well, I mean, I'll take it. Take whatever I can get at this point, right? So, yes, Ben. I think Jersey is going to win tonight, and I think anybody sleeping on what they can do is maybe not paying attention to what AJ is doing up there. I think he's a really, really good coach, and he does not get a lot of credit because Jersey doesn't have the resources that some of these other teams do. So I think he's going to surprise some people, but we'll see. Ricky, yeah, this is the first one I've tried. Sudachi lime. Not sure what Sudachi is, but it's not bad. I like it. Keep him far away from Mike Vrabel. I love it. So on that note, we're going to hit a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. And what better time to play?
Man, Wheeling has good talent, right? But it's all about putting it together, right? They should have won that game last week. They kind of blew it, to be honest. So I think the offense will do well. I just need to see more, from the offensive line, defensive line. That's all it comes down to. But I know, Ben does a good job with that team. Yeah, I think he's put together a good roster, but we'll see.
To be fair, Ben, we said we were all very I don't want to say surprised, but we were encouraged by what Wheeling did against Columbus in week 1. I don't think any of us thought it was going to be a 2-point game. We thought Lions might have a little bit bigger deficit in that one. And, Wheeling came out and looked really good. We also lauded on the fact that they signed Khalil Trotman. We were all pretty high on that move. And he didn't even start for them. So, obviously they're a pretty talented team. And Mike Davis says, but they have Todd Simmons on jersey. They do.
I thought he signed with that other semi-pro team.
He did, but I'm not sure how all that's going to work. I don't think
that team plays on weekdays. I heard, and then the Bearcats play on weekends.
Hold on, they've got Todd Simmons, but I thought Quad City had Todd Simmons, and I thought Wyoming had Todd Simmons, and I thought everyone had Todd Simmons. You get Todd Simmons.
Todd Simmons moved in next to me. He's my neighbor now too.
That's awesome. Mississippi is bringing in a new QB this week. Interesting.
What is he going to do? I mean, respectfully, obviously he did decent with Louisiana. I'm giving him credit, but I mean, he's not going to make them score more than 8 points. I mean, that team is that team. So
Is that William Walters? Is that what
Yeah.
you said? Yeah, okay. That makes
wasn't
sense.
he like the third quarterback in camp with Columbus, right?
He was with Columbus for a little while. He was also with Louisiana, started a game with them for, the NAL. So we'll see. We'll see.
I want them to sign Justin Art, bro. Like, I want to see how good Justin Art is in a live game setting, man. Like, I can't wait. One
I
day,
would like to see that too. I was
he's
really
a tryout, Coach Davis, Rough Riders, giving him a tryout today. So I don't even know how these guys get CFL workouts. I have no idea.
that's a discussion for another day. We have a CFL show that will be kicking off coming up soon. We can have that discussion on that one, Krish. But we're going to hit a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with some NAL talk, and I will check in on our guest and see if we can still get him on this morning. Perfect time for this commercial.
Step up in the pocket, has some room in front of him, gets that reset drop, here comes the pressure, passes complete to Flowers, back to pass, pressure coming, has somebody in the end zone, touchdown! Pressure's coming, Russell able to escape, still on his feet, and will be brought down at the, looking, has plenty of time, has Flores at the 15, he's at the 10, and Russell has it on the outside, like I said, he ain't taking a slide, Russell steps up, lets one go, Robinson makes the circus catch. Going to be a low snap. Here comes the pressure, and the pass is going to be complete. And making the catch of Grant Russell. Russell, back to pass, looking. He has Robinson makes the catch, and will be brought down on the play by Isaiah Hall.
How many times a week?
Like three, four times maybe.
I'm gonna pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
All right, we're going to talk some NAL while we try to get our guest on. Also, a little bit of I don't even know if you can really call it an announcement, but we're going to tweak the lineup of the show a little bit as we move forward into the season. We're going to cut down on the interview times. We're going to cut interviews to about 15 to 20 minutes rather than the full 30 minutes, just kind of condense the show a little bit. We're going to try and start keeping the show within 2.5 hours to hopefully like closer to 2 hours. A lot of us have kids. And we obviously would like to spend a little bit more time with those children, and then also, supervise them, which is kind of important. So that would be, another thing that another reason why this is coming about. So we're definitely gonna, turn it down a little bit, try and condense the show a little bit. But on that note, we're gonna go ahead and get into the NAL while we wait on our next guest. So with that being said, there is quite a few things to talk about in the NAL. We're going to start with the biggest piece of news, which of course is the fact that Dallas has been removed from the NAL. And with that being said, Krish, we'll let you start on this one. What are your thoughts on Dallas being removed from the NAL?
That's crazy, man. I remember back in December, January, right? They got all up in their feelings, right? When we were talking about Dallas on the show, coming on here talking like, oh, you should reach out to Doc, you should do this. You got, certain people in the league getting all up on their feelings, sending messages. I don't hear any of them now. They're real quiet, But it's because on this show, we call people out on their bullshit, and sometimes people are so sensitive, they don't want to look at the truth, right? They're blinded by their own reality. So this is a huge mistake on the NAL. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what Doc Hudson is. Doc Hudson is a serial liar. He's a criminal, in my opinion. He's a criminal. Like, he shouldn't be allowed near any other indoor football team ever again. But he will. He'll keep doing this. He'll change the logo now to red, blue, yellow, and then another team will let him in. Because that's what he did. No, oh man, North Texas is completely different than Dallas. Completely different. I kept asking how. Oh no, he knows, man. He learned how. Like I never got an answer. How? And then Rodney Blackshear quit. They hired him. I thought that was a great hire. He stepped down. Oh no, man, it's fine. It's him. It's a Blackshear problem now. It's his fault, right? It's his fault. And then Robert Kent stepped down. Oh, I don't know what happened to Robert Kent, man. He must be too busy, right? It's always the coach's fault. Now it's gotten so bad. The players haven't been paid in weeks. Everything, man. Like it's just so much bullshit. And this could have been avoided. I would have rather 8 solid teams than a 9 team with shitty ownership. So I don't know, man. I'm disappointed in the NAL, and I can talk all I want because I pay for the network. I ain't got no free network. I pay $30 for it, so I can say whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. my address is online, man. Warning. But honestly, man, it's disappointing. It's a huge failure, and I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like I'm so disappointed and disgusted. I don't want to see Omaha in the playoffs either. Now I want 4 teams in the playoffs. I want the best 4 teams. That's it, unfortunately. So.
Well, bold statements as per usual. That's what Krish is here for. So, on that note,
it's the most competitive season of the NAL I can remember in recent memory. And
100%
takes away from it. It's disappointing because there's so many talented players in the league, so many. But
agreed.
We're stuck on this because why we didn't even need Dallas, bro. We didn't even need them in the league. You would have had so many good teams without them. So that's it.
I don't think you're wrong on that. I think there's plenty of talent to go around in the league, and I think it's been a very competitive season.
I'm still waiting for my apology in the chat. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, Lord. For the record, none of us are expecting apologies, despite what Krish might say. Yes, we had pointed out some concerns about Dallas early on, but at the same time, a lot of those concerns were kind of addressed as they went. As far as the league was concerned. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. The reality of the situation is sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Could this have been avoided? 100% it could have been. I think a lot of us here would have avoided that because, his history. But at the same time, I'm a firm believer in second chances as well. So I'm sitting here, giving the NAL crap for giving him a second chance while also talking out the other side of my mouth and saying that I believe in people getting a second chance. So it's a tough situation. I wish Dallas had, fulfilled the obligations and lived up to the words that they had told people. But it's one of those things, unfortunately, there's people that will take advantage of good nature from others every chance they get. And I believe that maybe at this point it's time we think Doc Hudson is one of those people. But TJ, any thoughts?
Yeah, from pretty much the jump of them being announced, it was kind of a head scratcher. It was, like you said, it was basically a risk pick. And, hey, if it worked out, it would have been great. Unfortunately, it didn't. Now, you have to deal with the negative, the ripple effects of it. And that's, as soon as it was announced, people are saying that, oh, NAL doing NAL things again. And here we go again, deja vu and everything else. I say this supporting the NAL, liking the NAL. I have the NAL network because I'm a fan and I enjoy it. And I want to see them succeed, but man, they make so many big strides, but then they do this. It's just like there's always a yeah, but when are they going to get past it? That's what I want to see. And it's just stuck on repeat. My final thought on it was, all the good things that they've done, getting Black Rifle Coffee and getting on scripts, starting their own, really elevating themselves. And just like that, to most people now, it's diminished. And it's unfortunate for the league and really the sport as a whole, because the casual fan, like we always say, is going to see another team folds, sends remaining schedule into chaos, whatever, and they're just going to say, yep, that's arena and indoor football. So it's just unfortunate, and I think we're all sick and tired of seeing it, but unfortunately, it's going to happen every now and again. It just is what it is.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality of indoor football. But I do want to say that as far as the schedule chaos, I want to say this was probably one of the least impactful reschedules I've ever seen. So I think like I don't quote me on this because I haven't compared the schedule before and compared it to now, but I want to say only like a handful of games really switched around. Amarillo was supposed to, I think, have a bye week or play Omaha this week or something like that, and now they're playing Southwest Kansas, and Omaha now has a home game. But I think other than that, really not much has changed. Dallas, I think, was supposed to play Louisiana twice, so they lost a game, which might actually work out to an advantage if you're going by winning percentage when it comes to playoffs. So we'll kind of see how that works out. But Cody, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's definitely a black eye on the league. Like, it, to TJ's credit, like we've all seen this, and like even the comments are saying it too as I'm replying to some of them. Like, we knew this was an issue. Krish said it too. Like, we've said this in the offseason. All they did was change their color, and they went from, well, we're not North Texas, we're Dallas. Because for the longest of time, they didn't have an arena. Like, oh, you're North Texas, we're in North Texas. I don't know. So, like, once they pinpointed where it was going to be, and then we saw, like, the photos and stuff going around where it's like there were no fans in the stands, it hurts my heart because talking to other people about this as the news kind of progressed, as it was announced, was just like, you feel bad for the players. You feel bad for the coaches. You feel bad, like you do, but you don't in that sense. But you do because like they were sold this bill of, hey, we're going to be good for the season. Play the season here. Get your game film. Get your coaching experience. You feel bad for the concession workers and the ticket takers and all those people who are now out of a job. And yes, they probably only had a couple of games left, and I get that. But still, now they're out of a job. They don't get those paychecks. So it really sucks because you throw everything in flux, and then on kind of the macro level, you throw everything in flux with the league. You've got to reschedule. You've got to do this. You've got to do all of those things. It's just a huge black eye to what was already something that was already bruised. We already talked about this. We've already said, well, last week, 2 weeks ago, we're sitting there going, why is Dallas not a good fit metro-wise for any indoor or arena team? They don't stick around. And there was already speculation there that they were going to fold or at least have something turn up. So it sucks. I mean, I can't really necessarily add anymore because TJ and Krish already said it, but it's just, at what point do you sit there and say, we need to be better at vetting? We need to be better at allowing who we have in. We have to be very stringent. Even if that means that we only have 7 teams, there comes a point where you reach that apex within like your graph where you're just like, at what point do we sit there and say, we don't care? This team could provide more money and they're selling us on what they want. Let's give them another year. And they had already given Dallas another year to change their name and their color. And it still did this. And we all knew it. And that's what sucks. That's what hurts the most. To TJ's credit, and maybe even Krish too, like, you take all these steps forward. You get these sponsors. You get the network. You get all of this stuff just to have it, I wouldn't say come crashing down because it's still working, but just to have it look like this. Just to sit there and be like, oh, here we go. It's another what? I know it's a different thing, but it's another what? Fayetteville Mustangs? Like, it's just, it sucks, man. It really sucks because you have such good intentions and it just falls short.
And I want to add one more thing too. You know, I have so much respect for, you know, Todd Walkenhorst over in Omaha. Because, you know, when he was commissioner, every time a team folded, he would get on live and explain why they folded and, you know, kind of give a statement. I haven't heard anything from the league about the team folding. I haven't seen any video, and I've seen a statement, but I want to see a video. You know, I want to see you addressing it head on, you know, explaining why the team folded. I think that's leadership, in my opinion. I think this was a huge opportunity for them to show leadership. You know, hey, we removed this team because of this. We took a stand. So explain it. You know, I thought my $30 NAL network subscription would at least come with that, but I guess not.
Man, you're really trying to get every penny squeezed out of the $30, huh?
I smell a new documentary dropping on the NAL network. Downfall of Dallas.
Absolutely. Well, look, I can't guarantee anything. I would like to think I have a pretty good relationship with the commissioner of the league. We'll see if we can't get him on to make a statement, you know, and I can't guarantee that. You know, maybe he'll do something on Inside the Walls or something, but regardless, I think there needs to be a statement made about why this move was made. But I also hate this for the league because we just finished a week of football that was probably one of the best for the league so far this week or this year. You saw a 1-point game come down to a missed field goal between Salina and Southwest Kansas. Pueblo had a great game. Sioux City also played a really good game. There was just honestly a really great slate of games. Omaha got their first win, so now there's no longer any winless teams in the league. So I personally think that it's a good move overall. Sometimes addition by subtraction is necessary, right? And Dallas was necessary to go. It should have happened a long time ago. It should have never happened that they were in the league, but at least they're gone now. So I think that's a positive for the league. Obviously they're still
once they get their $14.56, that discount will be applied. If you know, you know.
Dear Lord. Dark Side of Arena Football now playing on Vice TV moment. Krish counter 7. Still no NAL shop discount. Have you emailed the league? Just have you contacted the commissioner? I'm just curious. But Antonio Brown, Alvin era was awful for us. That's probably the worst thing I've ever witnessed. From the Dallas Bulls to the Dallas Bulls. AAL is looking interesting, loving what they're doing. Same Krish on that dang $30. In moments like this, it's easy to reflect on what could have been done differently. We can always say could have, a word would have, but ultimately we must focus on moving forward with purpose and clarity.
I like that, but I hope you have a freaking. You probably don't. You're not technologically advanced enough to use Google Docs, so you probably have a notepad and everything. But
what is that even?
What I'm saying is that I hope that Coach Q living in Texas, if he can learn from this to apply to his Wild Hogs.
That's it. That I just had to throw in there completely unrelated form of disrespect in there just for one. Sometimes, Krish, I don't know. Silver lining with the NAL being so well regionalized, the travel impact and schedule change seemed pretty easy to manage. Still hate to lose a team, but league needed to know this was a possibility. Amen, Cody. This is hilarious. It was planned. Omaha just wanted to play them to get that win. It was not.
I don't think it was planned, but I understand. Obviously this happened with Oklahoma City. Let's be real, right? They played Omaha and then they folded the week after. So I understand why. I get why it looks kind of, but it's not. You know what I mean? Some things kind of look weird.
No, let's put it this way. I mean, okay, we're like 6 weeks, 7 weeks into the season at this point. Every team's played 6 to 7 games. So essentially we're folding a team with 3 to 4 weeks left in the season. I mean, think about that. They didn't want this to happen.
No.
I mean, if they could have made this, if they could have limped Dallas through the rest of the season and then gotten rid of them, they would have. But they probably ultimately decided the impact to other team owners was not worth it. At the end of the day, somebody's got to foot the bill if the Dallas owner is not. And I'm willing to bet the other team owners said, no, thank you.
No.
But imagine if Omaha lost a home game. I went to a home game this year. Trust me, they would have lost a lot of money. They sell that out. So,
put your tinfoil hats on, guys. They did this so Omaha can get a win. And then next week, we're going to figure out that the lizard people run the world. That's it. We never know what's going to happen with this.
Are you saying Ricky's a lizard person?
Have you ever seen him and a lizard person in the same room together? Checkmate.
Good point. I've actually never seen Ricky in a room in general because I still have yet to meet him in person.
That's
so
crazy. You haven't met him. That's insane.
I know, right?
I saw him at the Omaha Southwest Kansas game. He was moving kind of reptilian. That's all I'm going to say.
For the record, these are the jokes, people. We're joking. Clearly, Ricky is not a reptile. Great guy. We all love him very much here at the network. Of course, he supports us quite heavily. So on that note, let's go ahead and transition into some more positive news. Omaha gets their first win. Yes, it came against Dallas, and all of the news behind Dallas kind of diminishes what they did in that game. But let's not forget that Omaha needed to get this win. They needed to get off the schneid. They needed to get some momentum rolling in order to be in that playoff conversation. And now at this point they are. So with that being said, what were you guys' thoughts on the performance, specifically by the offense that put up 50-plus points? You know, we're all very close to our guy CJ here. How do we grade his performance? Let's go to Cody first.
As Omaha's assistant to the regional coordinator, they did well. They did exactly what they needed to do. They got off the schneid and they got the win. Going into this, whether it was distractions of what was going on behind the scenes with Dallas or whatever the case could be, and I'm not going to speculate or do anything like that. We already know the lizard people. But I think Omaha just came out and they said enough is enough. And it doesn't matter who it's going to be next. We're just going to come out and we're going to play our game. We're going to win. So they got some things figured out. And again, like I said, maybe the distractions, maybe there's stuff behind the scenes with Dallas that we don't know about, and they just kind of came out flat. Maybe there was something where it's like, hey, this is it, guys. It's make or break. Let's go out and get that win against Omaha, and we'll see where the chips fall or whatever the case could be. Like I said, I'm not sure. I won't speculate any further than that. But at the same time, Omaha got the win, much needed. Monkey off their back. They can finish the season strong. There might be a shot at the playoffs at the very end of the season.
Absolutely. TJ, what are your thoughts? I know you were partying so hard that you still had a hangover this morning 5 days later. So,
Hey, man, it was great. Talk about a monkey off the back. You know, I was on a team that did not win a game all year long, and it sucked. So I'm very happy I did not have to experience that as a fan. But no, man, they look great. That was honestly the best overall game they put together. Offense dropping 40 points plus, defense scoring points as well, causing havoc in the backfield. I mean, it was that was the beef team that you're used to seeing. And again, people were ready to count them out. You know, even on the show, Krish, you know, pack it up. The season's over, man. Listen. Obviously, with the whole Dallas situation, the schedule's changed a little bit, but it is still a favorable end to the season for the Beef. If they can get on a run, 4-5 wins, that sneaks you into the playoffs potentially. So they could be in a win and in situation the last week or two of the season. They could still control their own destiny, and do not count them out if they sneak in. They could be that dangerous team.
100%. You can never count out the Beef. I think I've been saying that all season long. And I just want to point out, I picked him to win in this game. Krish, you got some things to say about the fact that you picked Dallas in this game?
Yeah, you know, Dallas came out, right? They look kind of shaky offensive line-wise. You know, I expected them to be a little more competitive, but, you know, they kind of look like a semi-pro team out there. And obviously, you know, congrats to Omaha, right? Obviously, first win of the season, you know, for Coach Loftus and everything. You know, I'm still not completely sold on what they got going down there, but I think CJ did a great job. I think they got Vincent Espinoza coming in, so he's going to kind of stabilize the offense. So that's a good signing for them, you know, considering how he finished out in Columbus last year. I give Cody's boy so much credit. Daquan Dudley, man. I mean, he's one of the best receivers in the league. He opens up, you know, the field for other receivers to make plays. So, you know, he's doing a great job. And, I mean, I just think they just got to rely on him and Devin Conklin, and I think they'll be good. I don't think they'll win a playoff game, though. I don't, unfortunately.
That's fair. Brian, I am 100% certain the two things are not connected. 100%.
I actually think they are, but that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. It's whatever. You know what I mean.
I understand what the thought process is and all that, but I don't think that's the case. But let's go ahead and move on. The next big topic, of course, that I'm pretty thrilled about is that the Southwest Kansas Storm have remained undefeated, 6-0, beat Salina in Salina. So, you know, Luke Miller is not on this show, but if we want to talk about apologies, that man right there owes Southwest Kansas an apology. He had them ranked 4th as recently as 2 weeks ago, before they beat, I believe, Sioux City and then ultimately Amarillo and now Salina. So 6-0, just saying. Obviously, things are going pretty well there. When do we start having the conversation about Coach of the Year for Coach Thomas? 6-0. He just beat Salina in Salina. Yeah, we can talk about how these games have been very close. And honestly, you could probably have a conversation about how Southwest Kansas plays up or down to their competition due to the way that their offense runs. But at the same time, the wins speak for themselves. So when do we get to have that conversation? TJ, you have a comment?
Sam, I'm sorry, you're not going to like this one, but Coach Thomas will get it when he wins a playoff game.
Isn't that award voted on before the playoffs?
I think they should hold off, man. It's that's been, Coach Thomas has had, relatively good to great regular seasons as a head coach, but he has trouble in the playoffs. I think they got to get over that playoff hump in order for really just the respect that they deserve. That's the only way that Southwest Kansas can get it. And then in terms, obviously, Coach Thomas.
TJ, I thought we were friends. I even wore a beef shirt for you today, in solidarity that they won. But I'm gonna have to tear this thing up afterward. Just kidding. I wouldn't.
You wore that shirt for Ricky. Liar.
Yeah, that's true. I did. But oh Lord. Coach Davis looking down from the pedestal over there.
Oh man.
He gets one championship and suddenly he's just, he's the hottest thing since sliced bread. I'm just kidding.
He's going to make me root for Krish in a couple of weeks, and I don't want to do that.
Oh, he knows how that's going to get personal, man. He knows, man.
Krish, when does anything involving you not get personal? Let's be honest.
He knows.
Hey, by the way, what are your thoughts on Southwest Kansas being 6-0?
Man, hey, I had them projected at 6.5 wins, 7.5, I believe. Seven flat. Yeah, this would be true as well. But I give the scouting department and Coach Thomas so much credit for the start. You guys grounded is crazy. So I give their scouting department so much credit and Coach Thomas, like I said. And honestly, I was looking at this the other day. If they wanted to make a big splash, I know Self is playing amazing. I would try to get Jalen Morton back in the UFL, towards the end of the season. Columbus season and Southwest season end towards the same time, especially if they have a bye week. Man, imagine if they did that. Could you imagine? That would guarantee them a championship with Jalen Morton back. I could easily see that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that all works contractually. I don't know if that would be something that would be possible, to be honest. But nothing's out of the realm of possibility, right?
If Tulsa can sign Sam Castronova for like the final 4 games in the IFL, I think anything's possible, man.
Well, no, Coach Davis can let us in on this. So I think the UFL season. Nothing but love for you all. Chris, only half the time. Same here. But what I was saying is, like, Coach Davis can let us in on this too. When the UFL season ends, I believe the June 1, I think everyone gets released, right? They get terminated from the contract. No.
I think it's something like that, but I thought it was later than June. I thought they intentionally made it like September to avoid losing guys to the CFL or something like that. But I could be wrong on that. To be honest, I don't know if that's changed under the new ownership as well.
Rivers, he signed with Memphis last year, and he signed back with San Antonio after. I
think he was released, though.
He was released.
Actually released. But I'm not sure. But I mean, I will say this: like, why would you want to replace Self? Unless he leaves. In my opinion, that'd be the only reason he would want to leave, or you'd want to bring in another quarterback.
Self is playing good though. I mean, he got good receivers. He got Jelani Baker, D. Wash, right? They're making plays. So
what's up, Coach?
What's up, guys?
Did you come on to talk about some NAL?
Yeah,
I know exactly what you want to talk about. Colorado versus Pueblo back to back.
Dude, I'll talk about that too. Those are my guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Solo? No, I was just going to say, you talking about the guys get released. Like, when guys are exempt, you're exempt for 1 calendar year. right? So you don't have to worry about that. And then
Okay.
you'll stop seeing guys jump back and forth when it comes to that stuff, just because you got to protect the league, and every league should do that. Like I'm all for guys getting advancement. I mean, obviously we preach it here, but it's hard when you get guys that go to the UFL and stuff like that. Like Columbus just signed another Elijah Blades from us last year, right? And it's hard to those guys. The season ends in their championship games, in 2 weeks, something like
that. For the UFL,
yeah,
they still got several weeks to go,
or July 3rd, whatever it is. Anyway,
yeah.
When that stops, like you're gonna stop seeing guys influx coming back to other leagues. In my opinion, the way rules are set in place, you're gonna stop seeing guys from coming back after the season, because it takes away the true integrity of the game, right? Like you go recruit, but everybody on this panel can say, hey, I don't think the talent in the UFL is great, right? I think that there's a bunch of players in the IFL, maybe a couple in the NAL that could play. I don't think any other league, but I don't know everybody in every other league, right? But I think that there's guys, we can all say that there's guys here that you think could do what you're seeing on TV from every position: quarterback play, receivers, right? Especially guys up front. Like it's hard because it's a bad look for guys who go out and truly recruit and put in the work and grind daily, right? And that's the one thing I'll say is, I give Ricky a hard time all the time, but the NEL, they do what they have to do with the staff they have. You got to continue to put in the work, right? Yeah, you go find players. You want those players to get elevated, but everybody has their selfish tendencies. Everybody wants to keep their guys, right? Krish was talking about Jalen Morton. Yes, you would love to have him back, but I bet you there's a couple IFL teams that would love to have him too if they can afford him, right? And for Sam, selfishly, yeah, I want him back. I found him. This is how it is, right? But these guys are so glass half empty. Like, oh, I'm looking for the next best thing. I joke about it all the time. It's kind of like being the street beggar here in Vegas. You can go in any corner and you can find somebody asking for money. Well, that's somebody asking for another contract, right? And guys need to figure out, hey, when you get elevated and get advanced, a lot of those teams look to see, hey, are you a loyal dude? How does that work when you're the longevity of it, right? I don't want you signing here to sign there to sign here to sign there. Hey, go in, work on your craft, build your brand, and try to get out. Now, if you're with somebody that can't help you get out, you better get with people who know you and people that are connected with you to try to help them get out. And that's the frustrating part of this business, right? It's all, oh, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. And it has nothing to do with me, right? It's the we mentality. And if you take that and run with it, great things happen for the players and the advancement, and the recruiting gets better.
Yeah, I mean, I think you are a perfect case study of that, right? Vegas has guys that come in and come out every year, and I think you've kind of set the precedent for kind of that approach. So if anybody can speak on that topic in particular, I think it's you. And on that note, so
it's not about me versus anybody, though. That's what you need to understand. It's about, hey, how can we help the guys? Like, I've tried to help guys in NAL. I'm trying to help guys in another team. But at the end of the day, like, you got to help yourself, and you got to put yourself in the right situation to be helped.
True. It's all about mentality for sure.
Hey, Coach.
Yeah, what you got? Colorado, Pueblo, what's up?
Yeah, Colorado and Pueblo back to back. So two games in a row in Denver. So
I'm taking Pueblo both games.
Pueblo both games, huh?
Yep.
From a coaching perspective, how difficult is it to face the same opponent twice, and then also the same opponent twice on the road?
If you win the first one, things are great. If you lose the first one, you don't have much time to scramble and fix it.
That's a good point.
But you also you know your personnel. You know who you're playing. You know. I mean, everybody know Brandon Negron is up there. What is that going to do, right? How does that work, right? Nothing against Negron or anything like that, because that's not a shot at him. But you got to show me What's going on, right? How is he helping with? Because I know he's not just in the front office. He's trying to help Fred Shaw. I guarantee you, whether he wants to help or not, right? I mean, once a coach, always a coach. You're never just going to take a back seat when you're in the thick of it. And that's my opinion. I could be wrong with that, but I'm sticking with it.
I think you're probably right about that. So that was actually our next topic. So I'll throw that to Krish next. Krish, Brandon DeGrone named the general manager of the Colorado Spartans. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it's good when you see someone, you're fond of get an opportunity, right? So I feel like, I think, like Coach David said, once a coach, always a coach. So, you want to hold on. And he's done this before, right? He moved in the front office to Carolina and came back 2 weeks later to coach. So I can easily see him doing this as well. But no, I think he's great. He's a front office guru. He's great at sales and sponsorship. And so I think that's where Colorado needs to grow on the business side of things. Makes sense for them, sure.
Completely agree on that front. I think his sales ability will be a welcome addition to the Spartans, and I look forward to getting to meet him in person finally. So definitely looking forward to that. Cody, what are your thoughts about Brandon DeGrone to Colorado, and then also Colorado and Pueblo back to back?
Well, he ruined the opportunity to go west to the Oregon Trail, so he went back to Colorado, which sucks. But no, it's a good fit. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for everyone here, but I think a lot of people kind of scratched their head about him going to Wyoming, and then like, okay, this is really abrupt after the whole Omaha thing. So, excuse me, landing on his feet, back with Colorado, being back in the same league where he just was, very familiarity with it. So I think it's a good fit. I do. We'll see how it kind of, plays itself out. But with that going into Colorado and Pueblo, these are some big playoff implication games for both teams. Obviously, one team wanting to get that number 1 seed or get as close as they can with Pueblo. Colorado trying to maintain their playoff seeding and everything along those lines. I dare I say cop out and say they split. I think Pueblo can win one. I think Colorado can win one. But I did, mimic Coach Davis. I think Pueblo can win both more than I see Colorado winning both. At the very least, I see them splitting.
Fair point. TJ, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say Coach Negron, he's just his personality is just a go-getter mentality. So he's not going to sit back, even if he's not asked to do stuff. If he sees that something's not getting done, he's just going to go and take care of it himself and help out any way he can. So I really like that addition to the team. In terms of the matchup, I got to agree with Cody. I either see him splitting or both going to Pueblo, just because I don't see Colorado winning the two. Both. I see either Pueblo going 2-0, or maybe Colorado sneaking one and going 1-1.
Hey, where does Colorado play? Sorry, I should know this, but
In
Denver
Colorado.
Coliseum.
they don't play in Loveland anymore.
No, they used to in 2023, 24.
Okay.
Their first season they were in Loveland. They played at the Blue Arena, and then they moved down to the Coliseum, which honestly I think is probably a much bigger venue, more centrally located, but also probably not quite as nice. I like it, but that's me personally.
The reason I asked, I know our Silver Knights, our AHL team is playing the Colorado team, and they were talking about, how they sell out every game in Loveland. And I remember when the Colorado Crush was there back in the day, but why would anybody get away from that area when it's just that's the only thing to do is sports in that venue?
Well, I think probably because of the hockey team, they kind of take all of the energy focus up there. The Colorado Eagles are kind of a big deal in Loveland.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the one thing. Also, just maybe thinking that he was going to get more walk-up, and casual people buying tickets in Denver rather than in Loveland. But I would kind of be curious to be a fly on the wall and have that conversation with him, or and wonder how it's all weighed out since the move. But I kind of see why he did it at the time. Like I said, it's more centrally located in Denver here. So,
got you. I'm just curious. I just people fuss all the time about attendance, and this business is not easy, right? But you have to work at it, right? And I don't care if you're giving away 5,000 free tickets or 2,000 free tickets, right? Get people in the building to get things moving and go from there.
Absolutely. And I think honestly that was a big reason Paxton Lynch was signed, right? You sign him and you're playing in Denver. That was a big attraction. The news was talking about it and all that stuff. And then he gets hurt before their first home game. And unfortunately, a lot of that interest is tapered off really quickly, unfortunately. But it's kind of one of those things. But if you want to hang out with us, we've got quite a bit to talk about with the IFL. I've got to take an obligatory commercial break. So it would be interesting to get your thoughts on the news of the expansion for the IFL.
Sure. I'll hang out for a little bit.
Sweet. We'll hit a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Omaha Beef Football. Prime Dancers. Rump Roasters. Slaughterhouse. Are you ready? DJ next one. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse where we run it. Yeah, we really want it. Beef Nation got them shaking. Got a ring and we flown it. Prime Dancers be on it. I bet the competition's no opposition. We come to take and we done it. Ricky is the chief saying, let's go beef. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse. Orange and Black about to win this. Defense stays on attack. You on our hit list. Blocking, blocking, and dumping, jumping out the gymnasium. You want to see the best? Meet us at the Beef Stadium. Yeah. Orange Kingdom. Welcome to the Orange Kingdom. Let's go, Beef. Orange Kingdom. Slaughterhouse. Orange Kingdom. Prime Dancers. Orange Kingdom. Let's roll, baby.
How many times a week?
Like three, four times maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Getting some comments here about what Coach Davis said, but obviously big news about the IFL came out over the past couple days that they will be adding a team in Georgia, Athens, Georgia to be exact, and they have quite the ownership group with the bus. Jerome Bettis is involved, and then you guys can correct me. I'll have to pull up the list for the other two owners. That was kind of the highlight was obviously Jerome Bettis, but I will definitely pull up the list and we'll discuss the full ownership group. But overall thoughts on expansion to Georgia. Coach Davis, what are your thoughts on the move to Georgia?
I think it just goes to show you what the IFL is doing in the footprint, right? Making it, trying to get some travel partners for Orlando and Jacksonville, and really trying to put a foot, so to speak, on that southeast region. And those guys are on islands, like they need some help, right? Give them a couple bus trips, like those guys. I know Jacksonville and Orlando, they play each other twice. Okay, great. But give them a couple chances to have a couple more bus trips, right? Just to help financially with the league. And yes, they have money and that, but wealthy people get money not by wasting it.
Great point. And on that note, the full ownership group: David Pollock, Brian Jordan, and Jerome Bettis. Just so we're all clear. And definitely, exciting because all of these guys are former pro athletes themselves. They have a background in sports, so hopefully it's going to be an interesting and very knowledgeable ownership group from that perspective.
Sam, but I'll tell you that they're all minority owners.
True, and that's even better.
Like, yeah, they have a damn, what is the guy's name? Mike. Hold on, not Mike. Sorry, I'll tell you what it is. The majority owner group has been in the indoor arena space for years. It is. Sorry, I'm looking through an email trying to find it.
You're good.
Anyway, he's been in the arena football indoor space for like 20 years. Owns a digital media company. Their arena actually in Athens was built by the same people, Whitey Turner, who built ours and designed ours. It's literally a spitting image of the one we have here in Henderson. So, it's I just think, like, for me, you put a team in Athens. Obviously, they're used to winning. Right. The biggest misconception, as I joke with people, is if you think you're going to get people from that played at University of Georgia to play on there, good luck. And that's what they're hoping for with David Pollock and some of those guys. But those guys in Georgia are making way too much money to be playing in the IFL. Like, unless you're getting a couple walk-ons or somebody that's been in trouble and needs a second chance or something like that, I don't see you having very many Bulldog players on there at all.
That's fair. Well, there's caveat, and I'm sure Krish is going to say this, but what about Toby Johnson as head coach? Play on some former teammates, maybe out there. Just thought. Krish, what are your thoughts on Athens as an expansion location for the IFL?
Yeah, right now I'm focused on Toby being a defensive coordinator here with Orlando. I don't want to think about him leaving. We got to focus on the task on hand. But with terms of head coaching candidates, man, I thought Patrick Pass would be a great name for me. Obviously, he won a championship with us in 2021. He's a motivational figure in my opinion. So, I look up to him. So I know other guys in that area do too. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing for the league. Hockey team, it's gonna be good. I'm excited. And look, we were the most traveled team in the league. Hey, when we were in Mats, our guys were suffering in airports, jet lag, everything. So now we get to beat up on teams closer to us. I'm excited. It's over with, man.
It's definitely a good thing, when you talk about some of those travel restrictions from these teams, with the Pirates moving down to Orlando. Obviously, we've already discussed at length the fact that makes it a lot easier for them with Jacksonville right in their backyard. But now with a Georgia team as well, that's only going to further help them and kind of help them remain more sustainable, as well as the Sharks. So, TJ, thoughts on Athens, Georgia, as well as the ownership group?
Yeah, man, it's exciting. I've been
to help them
players
remain more sustainable, as well as the Sharks. So.
Seeing Jerome Bettis, that makes it exciting. And then, you see people talking, bringing up, oh man, Georgia Force references and stuff like that. And, obviously Georgia as a whole has a rich history in the sport. But it also, again, helps with travel. It helps solidify that region. Obviously, with the Cup games, a little bit of hope and gaining some interest back in the Northeast. So, we'll see what happens in the future. But I'm really liking what the IFL's doing.
Cody, what do you have to say about this comment?
Look at my comment below that, and their team name should be the Athens Speed Limits. It's
exactly.
This is horrible. We should contract the league. No, this is great. Like this is great, man. Like we've all talked speculation on expansion on where some places are. We've talked somewhere in the Southeast, whether it's the Carolinas, whether it's been Georgia, things like that. So this is a big get. And as they've said, or as Todd Tryon has said for years, like trying to expand that Southeast footprint. Now that Mass is relocated down there, you've got a really good 3-team group. If you can expand on that even further, maybe you start going to like different divisions within the league or things like that. And you can start really getting like a regional footprint within a national landscape with it. So it's really cool. I really like it, especially the ownership group that you bring on. You've got the figureheads with David Pollock being former College Game Day and former Georgia player, Jerome Bettis, and obviously his Hall of Fame career and everything like that. So it is a very, very good get for this league. And if it's anything like what Fishers has been capable of doing in their first couple of years, depending on who you get for coaching, depending on who you get for your players and stuff like that, it could be a team to look out for year one, but that all remains to be seen.
Sam, let me since you want to talk about it real quick, like, and Krish loves to throw out the coaching candidates. Like, people have to understand, having an expansion team is extremely tough, right? And you go, and there's a lot of great men out there, right? Let me say that first and foremost, right? But you have to have the right mentality and the right guy who's done it, right? You can't just have a great leader of men that doesn't call plays or doesn't do sponsorship or doesn't do anything like that, right? You have to have somebody that knows how to recruit and build a football team, or somebody who's going to have a staff that's loaded for bear to go out and be productive. Because I don't believe, and don't quote me on this, I don't think there's been an expansion team, a true expansion team, make the indoor playoffs in year one ever. Right? Expansion teams are extremely, extremely difficult.
It could be murky, but you'd have to go all the way back to, I think, Frisco. But then you've got like the COVID year in there that they were supposed to be in 2020. It got canceled. And I think they made the playoffs in 21. So I think if you want to get technical with it, but if you count 2020, then no.
Okay, so you look at that and then you say, okay, well, just look at the coaching candidates within the IFL and NAL. Right. Let's just say, and I know, sorry, I'm gonna get off topic and then I'm getting off here because I got work to do. But like, who would be your top 5 head coaching candidates, not counting Curtis Chin and Rod Miller and Les Moss? Go.
Rob Windsor.
He's already a head coach. Go.
Let's
see. You said no Les Moss, right?
Take out Les, Chin, and Rod Miller.
Rob
Go.
Keefe, obviously.
Rob Keefe, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Keefe. Toby Johnson.
So you think Toby Johnson's ready to be a head coach, recruit, leader of men, playbook, all that?
I don't know that he's necessarily ready, but given the location,
do you take
not a chance?
Do you take another swing at Billy Back?
He's from that area.
There you
potentially.
Go. Billy Back makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about him initially. He makes a lot of sense. Do we see another head coach jump? I don't know from another team, from another IFL team. We've seen it before.
Okay, who would it be?
Andre Coles.
After what he's doing in Iowa, love the guy to death. Not a chance.
I mean, I don't know that you can blame Andre Coles for what's going on in Iowa.
Peyton Riggs, from what Trey said on the comments, I don't know if he's ready to be a head coach just yet, but he's well on his way.
Riggs would definitely be a splash.
I mean, Curtis Riggs is another, and then Corey Ross.
I mean, you got to think about it, right? Like you and I think I said this to Krish yesterday because he brought up Patrick Pass, and I said at the end of the day, there's 2 things, and I take this from the college football world, right? Do your resources match your expectations, right? In Iowa, just to give Dre a break, right? Their expectations are just to be the 4th seed. He'd love to win, get in the playoffs, whatever, right? But do their resources garner championship expectations? No, from not what, and I'm not there, so just from what everybody says, no. So if he can hover around the 4 seed, get in the playoffs, getting out, now granted we're a long way from that, but at the end of the day, like, what are your expectations going in, right? Yes, I know Rob Keefe has connections with that group, right? He was a player on when one of those guys was in the front office somewhere else. But how many other opportunities do you give him?
True. We just got a suggestion that all of us should have thought about. James Fuller, Tucson's offensive coordinator, obviously former head coach with Carolina Cobras.
I think that's something else that you have to take into consideration too, is if this is a brand new expansion team, and like I said, Peyton Riggs is a good get. I don't know if I want a first-year head coach leading a first-year team. While that might sound good in theory, you definitely want some experience in that realm to be like, hey, let's get off on a good foot. And that's the reason why we're naming guys like Keefe or Fuller or whoever's been a head coach in previous years. I don't know if he'd ever do it, but Tom Menas is probably going to be on that list, depending on how his eye injury and everything's on there. I mean, I don't know how high on the list he would be, but
Yeah.
name to check.
Okay,
out.
Cody, I don't want to interrupt you, right?
Go for
Nothing
it.
again. I love all those guys. I don't have a problem with any of them, right? But Manas had a terrible experience in the IFL. Fuller took over, had a terrible experience in the IFL. Tucson's offense, no offense, is terrible right now. Like, you have to have somebody that you have to strike while the iron's hot.
Why is
Who's it going?
Who's in Tucson?
Fuller.
Oh, he is. Okay, my bad. I thought you were talking Fuller being with San Antonio with Manas and making that connection. Okay.
He was.
I'm
he was. And then when Fuller got when Manas got fired,
okay.
Fuller took over. What'd they do?
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't know why I kept thinking Fuller was still with San Antonio. That's brain fart on my pen.
I mean, I wish there were not better. I wish there were more options, right? And that's one of the things that all these leagues, IFL, the NAL, and I'll just kind of talk about those two, we have to do a better job, me included, of grooming young coaches, right? Like, if you're not grooming young guys, like, how are you going to make leagues expand and be quality?
Well, we got a phone call.
All right.
Krish, the GM of Athens.
As you know, Coach is very busy, so I'm sure he just got a phone call.
No, but I agree with what Coach is saying. Honestly, I think how many young coaches are really like, and that's what I've said about expansion too. We need. No, I won't be a GM. I'll own a team and I'll build my roster. Because
I'll do it, guys. I'll do it. Athens, hit me up. I'm ready. I'll move to Georgia tomorrow. That place is beautiful.
But bro, honestly, let's be real for a sec. How many good coaches are out there? In my opinion, and I've told Coach Davis this before too. Like, if you're a good coach, you're coaching somewhere, right? Like, that's logic in my opinion. So
there's some coaches out there that are available that probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, but the thing you have to take into consideration again is like, let's take Tucson for the example. It's not to dog on Tucson or anything like that. They went and got Rayshon Kaiser. Rayshon Kaiser was a coach in the NAL. Like, we're starting to get coaches from different leagues to come over here because, to Coach Davis's credit, like, some of these guys are content with being coordinators. And if that's fine with them, that's fine. But either the offers aren't reached out to these guys or whatever the case could be, but you're stretched thin. So are you going to go get another NAL coach that has experience, or what do we do here? Because, like I said, I don't know if you want an expansion team to be a first-year head coach. You could get put underwater so quickly. That's the reason why Vegas went and got Coach Davis. It's the reason why Fishers went and got Dixie Wooten. It's the reason, Marvin Jones has been a head coach before, but Tulsa went and got Marvin Jones. So it's just like, there's experience with coaching. I expect Athens to do the exact same thing.
Well, what I was going to say before my phone rang is, real quick, who are the top three, and everybody's going to have a different opinion, who would you say are the three best coaches in the NAL?
Are we going based on Coach of the Year? Because Coach Thomas gets it this year, unless you're TJ.
Just overall. I don't care about this year, last year, the cumulative. I don't care. Like, in everybody's opinion, who would be the top three candidates, the best three coaches in the NAL?
All right, Coach Joe in Salina, Coach Herb in Sioux City, and Coach Thomas.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. This
you
is
can
great,
make
right?
an argument of solo as well, I think.
Okay, I would say those four would be perfect, right? Irv's not leaving Sioux City. No shot, right? Coach Thomas, unless it's a great job, I don't think he would leave Southwest Kansas. I could be wrong, but he's a lifer coach, but I think he has a job there also. Coach O would make the jump for the right situation, right? But sounds like they rolled out the red carpet for him in Salina. And Solo probably needs to be put in a situation on a staff with O'Neal or somebody like that to groom him for a couple of years before you take off, right? Now, I know him and JT and them, they did a great job when Tay was suspended. But you have to look at it, right? So if the IFL took two of those three, What does the NAL do?
Well, I think Sioux City's path is pretty clear. You promote Marlon Lobon in a heartbeat. And honestly, I think if I was an NAL team and I had an opening, really, even if I was an IFL team, I think I'd probably be at least entertaining a conversation with Lobon. I think he's a really good coach, recruiter as well. He does from what I understand, he does a good bulk of the recruiting there for Sioux City, which we can argue about the talent level there, but I think in other cities he might have a little bit more success with the ability to house more players and look a little bit further outside of Iowa for talent.
And I agree with that, Sam. I think that some people, they get handcuffed because they're in a situation like Sioux City where Lobon, nobody knows how good a recruiter he can be because of the handcuffs and the restrictions that Sioux City has. Right. So if you look at that, there are coaches out there, but is a coach ready to come up and not saying that we're better than the NAL? I don't want to get in that debate because it's irrelevant. Right. But I do think the coaching in the IFL is way better than the NAL. Right. Like obviously O'Neill's a Hall of Famer in the IFL. Right. In the situation, he would jump back in the IFL in a second. I think Coach Thomas, it would be a great challenge for him if he got in the IFL because you now have to coach. You have to make adjustments. You have to elevate your game. Right. And if you truly want a challenge, great. And I think that the NAL is getting to that, but there's too much of as Krish says, a tier 1 coach and a tier 2 coach and a tier 3 coach.
I think that's fair. I think that's 100% fair. And I do think that on a per team basis, you're probably looking at the IFL as having the highest quality coaches overall. I don't think that's much of a debate. There's some really, really good coaches in the IFL that have been doing it for a really, really long time.
And I want to, add one point too is we look at Marvin Jones in Tulsa, right? A lot of people respect him. He's 23 and 51. And so if he's considered a, moderately good coach, or upper coach in the NAL, right? Think about others making that transition too. That's a point too. So that's my opinion.
That's actually a really good comparison that I had not thought about. A good point, Krish.
Ron James in Northern Arizona, another one, right?
That's a good point. But we definitely have a couple other topics to get to, so I figure I'll throw those.
I appreciate it. I'm out.
All right, sounds good.
Wait, hold on. Oh, damn. I was going to ask him his keys to the game for Vegas and Arizona, and then when he was going to answer, I was saying, no, the IAL game.
Damn. Oh, well. Quick.
Paying their players.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. We're not going to get off on that tangent, guys.
Let's stay on topic. I harp on getting off topic. Let's stay on topic.
No, we're good. We're good. So real quick, we're not going to spend a ton of time discussing this, but I wanted to throw this out there and kind of throw congratulations out there to Marvin Jones Jr., who is signed with the Seattle Seahawks. Plays the same position his father once played. He's linebacker, so we wish him the best of luck with Seattle there. Hopefully he makes the roster with them and gets a shot in the NFL. As we all know, his father was kind of an NFL legend for many years. But the big conversation topic that I really wanted to have kind of a little bit of a discussion about was the most watched game was New Mexico versus Tucson recently on Yahoo Sports, and they had nearly 1 million views. And that's not counting any other, platforms. That's just Yahoo Sports. So I wanted to kind of talk to you guys and I mean, let's discuss this numbers. I mean, does anybody think in their wildest dreams that the IFL thought they would be getting near 1 million views on some of their games? I mean, let's consider that just a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, they were getting 10 to 15,000 per game on on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a huge get. It truly is. Again, to your credit, they're getting 10 to 15 or whatever. And then at one point, the Frisco Fighters had to bring in an influencer, and it's no shot at him, but Eli Mack came in and suited up, sat on the bench, and used that to gain his clout and to promote the team. And that got them 50 to 70,000 views and stuff like that on YouTube. What this kind of shows, and again, I'll raise my hand to be guilty of it too, to an extent, it shows you that the progress that the Indoor Football League has made with everyone sorry, I'm going to cuss like Krish, but everyone bitching and moaning, saying like, hey, put this back on YouTube, put this on here, it shows that the risk that they've taken to put this on Yahoo, it has paid off, and it has paid off in spades. What does that mean for money? We don't know. We're not behind the scenes, but what it means for the Indoor Football League is people are watching, whether it's on, replay on like Mondays or like before the live games kick off, they always have a replay of a different game. Whatever it means, people are watching. So to be able to watch this game, and as we've seen as the season has progressed, New Mexico and Tucson, oh buddy, their seasons could be a lot better, and we've already had the most watched game between those two teams. What are they going to do Sunday between Arizona and Vegas? That should be fireworks.
Agreed. I'm pretty sure Todd Tryon, saw that number and said, because that is definitely going to mean money one way or another for the IFL, whether it's with Yahoo in the future or what have you, whether it's, that pans out to national sponsors for the league. Like 1 million is an insane number that I don't think any of us ever imagined we would hit. In fact, that's better than some UFL games. UFL would beg for those numbers. But I also want to pose this question to Krish and TJ and Cody. I should have mentioned this to you as well. I mean, do you think they'd be seeing these numbers if this platform was not free?
No. I'll answer, then we can get to the Krish and TJ too. I'll finish out my stuff. No, they wouldn't. If this was on the IFL network, no. If this was on YouTube, no. But because you're able to show this and show this and show this through the fast channels, through Amazon, through everything, like it's so, like Triple McGee said, Yahoo Sports is just so easy to watch. The broadcast has been amazing. It's something that I was weary of early on this season of like, why do they have national broadcasters? Why can't they get the local guys? It has been seamless. Yes, there have been some broadcast issues, but they've worked out the kinks. As the season has gone along, I have been so impressed with how Yahoo has been able to handle things. Overnight, that's a topic for another day, but Yahoo has been amazing.
TJ, what are your thoughts on this number, the Yahoo Sports partnership overall, and just the overall growth of the sport once again?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that announcement, it kind of shocked me. Obviously, like you mentioned, none of us really saw that. I think before this being announced, if they would have announced the exact same thing but said 500K, we still would have been very impressed, but to almost hit 1 million, it shows, like Cody mentioned, the deal with Yahoo Sports, the deal where they can reach everybody now. You don't have to go search on here, search on here. It's like you go right to Yahoo Sports. And it's so accessible too, because I have Fire Stick TV. Obviously it's 2026. How many people don't have the Amazon Prime, right? So you're already paying for shipping and everything else with Amazon for that. So the games are essentially free, even if you're using Amazon Prime like me to go on Yahoo Sports. So it was just a great get for them. It was a great deal, and it also proves what we've been talking about really the last probably like going into last season, maybe even part of the year before, the rise and increase of interest in the sport as a whole. Everything, just like clothing, it's like a fad. It comes around and everything else, interest, it fades, comes and goes, but it always comes back. And right now I think we're in that spot where this sport is kind of on the rise again. We just have to learn from the mistakes, obviously, of the AFL and everything else, and hopefully this time they can really capitalize on it.
Agreed, and great points there for sure. Krish, any thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, the streaming deal was legit when Cody fully bought in. So, I think it's amazing. I've been watching the IFL longer than any of you have since 2021, and I just seeing the growth of the league. It has been incredible. From what it was in 2021 to now. I was talking to one of our veteran players the other day from my 2021 team, and we were just talking about the growth of the IFL, and it's amazing. It's only going to keep getting better and better, and NFL Network is coming. Like, he said in the article, I just think bigger things are on the horizon, and within 5 years, this is truly going to be one of the top professional sports leagues outside the Big Four in the country. So,
Hey, Krish, quick question. Is 2017 before or after 2021? Just quick question.
I'm just saying I knew more about the basics of the IFL. That's my point.
All right. I just was just checking.
I have a follow-up question. Is 2011 before 2021?
Wow.
Because I was at a Steelhawks game back when they were in the IFL.
There you go. There you go. I was going to say I attended my first IFL game in 2017 when the Crush were in the league still. So right before they folded, actually.
Hey, can I respond to Coach Davis's comment over here?
Yes.
So I'm not trying to diss overnight. They've definitely had their streaming issues and stuff like that. But if you keep talking like this, Coach, Krish and I are going to gang up on you in a couple of weeks. It's personal now.
Wait a minute. Are you now an Orlando Pirates fan?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Krish fan.
So I want to throw this comment up here, and Coach Beck is correct in my opinion. Damian Daniels is arguably one of the better coaches in any league as well. I think that you could probably plug him into some IFL teams, and he'd be very competitive. I think some other situations are very difficult to be competitive in. But, I definitely don't think that he's a bad coach by any stretch. And if it came off that way, I certainly apologize on that fact because I'm not trying to knock any coach. I just think that on a per team basis, if you look at the whole IFL, there's a lot of coaches that have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years and have been, championship winners, a Kevin Guy, a Mike Davis, a Marvin Jones that won CIF championships and stuff like that. So that's no knock on Damian Daniels. I'm just talking on a league by league basis. The IFL has some very, very good coaching top to bottom. So, hey, Shady Sports, Channel 8 Super Fire playing in my first arena game tonight. AAL, wish me luck. Which team are you on, Kelly? Let us know, and we'll definitely be tuning in and watching your game. You can be dead broke and hungry for football, and it's right there and completely free. Folks don't have money right now to pay for ESPN Plus and Fox 1, so getting a well-produced game for free is huge, and I stumbled across the IFL for free. I'm hooked, kind of like most of us found the old AFL back when it was on, regular TV. 2021, Krish had just gotten off the phone.
No. Jawad still has a higher winning percentage, Coach. So love you, man, but Jawad still has a higher winning percentage by about 5%.
He was talking about your age, sir.
No, bro. That's disrespectful as hell, man. We won the 2021 championship, and that will always be history. Hey, we have a banner in our airport. We're the only team in the country that has that. So, that's a big deal.
In Massachusetts airport or Orlando's airport?
In Mass, and we're about to put another one in Orlando this year. So
I guess we'll see. We'll see.
It's because you guys cut and trade people so often. They needed the flag to signal where the airport is.
That was brutal, TJ. That was brutal. So speaking of Orlando, there's a little bit of news coming out of Orlando. They made a trade with Tulsa. Krish, I did not catch that. Who did they trade with Tulsa?
Yeah, so you look at the idea of our D line where we were at. We had 8 D linemen coming into camp. That's awesome. We had one move up to the UFL, and we signed Devin Bryant Epps from New Mexico and Old Dominion. We'll get back to this. No worry. So Devin Bryant Epps from Old Dominion, and he played in a game for us. And he did all right. I just think he's not the right fit. So you go back to servant leadership, and he was traded to Tulsa. He lives in Tulsa, so he gets to play in front of friends and family, and so I'm happy.
Good for him. Honestly, let's be real for a minute. The IFL is a great platform and everything, but these guys aren't making millions. So the little bit of benefit to go play in front of your family, that's huge for these guys. So
that's an example of servant leadership, because if any other coach, made that trade, the narrative would be, oh my God, they care about their players so much, right? That's why, our GM, obviously he cares about the players just as much. So I'm really happy to see that.
Krish, question for you. And I do not mean this as a shot to Jawad. If this guy was balling out, do you think this trade happens?
No.
Okay.
To be honest, man. Hey, look, you
To
got
be fair, I think every other team would be in the exact same boat. Like, hey, we're gonna facilitate this trade for this player because he's not really performing.
We had 2 guys move up. You know, we
True.
I think we lead the I can't say
I don't know about lead.
I need to see
Maybe this season so far.
20. Yeah, this season. I'm not talking about.
Okay.
Vegas was last season. They had 3 move up, but I believe we've had 5. So I think we're 2 ahead. But so let's get back to Coach Davis, because this is crazy. So he still builds the team, right? So it's his team. So you're and I can't even respond to this. So I'm not even going to respond to that. I have nothing to say. Yeah, I'm just happy we have a banner, man.
If you want, I can print you a Massachusetts banner. You can have one too. We can all have one. We can all be championship banner airports.
Hey, I just want to be real clear. It is super cool that Massachusetts has a Pirates banner hanging in the airport. Because I'm pretty sure Denver has barely a clue that the Spartans or the Punishers exist. So, I mean, to be fair, that is a very cool thing. We're giving him stuff or crap, but
I want to say something. Coach Davis doesn't understand the importance of having a banner in the airport, and because Vegas is just becoming a sports capital in America. Boston has been a sports capital for years and years and years. So seeing my Pirates banner next to the Celtics means so much.
Who are the Celtics? Never heard of them. I'm just kidding.
It's
Anyway,
Celtics.
So another piece of news out of Orlando, they have hired Jason Simpson as a co-defensive coordinator. We talked last week a little bit about the difficulties of being a first-time play caller for Toby Johnson, and now they've brought in some veteran help alongside him. Krish, quick thoughts on that before we move on?
Yeah, really happy to see, Coach Simpson is he's a national championship winning defensive coordinator. Last time I checked, when Coach Davis was calling the offense, he held Coach Davis to 45 points 4 times in a row. So, he's a really good coach, and I'm really excited to have him on staff. I feel like our defense is only going to get better and better, and it's a building process. You can't – the thing is, everything's a process, man. Like, if you don't take it day by day and you look too far ahead, you can get caught up. So we're 3-2 right now. I'm really happy. I'm so happy to have him on staff. And I can't wait to get him another national championship ring. That's how I feel.
Let's hope it works out. Hey, it looks like we are joined by a very special guest. However, it looks like his devices are not connected, so hopefully we can have him get that figured out. We'll get him on. But with that news, there is one more little piece of news about the IFL this week. And
you know what? This is insane. I don't even know how to respond to this.
I mean, he has a point. Like, did the banner really equate to fans? Probably not. But at the end of the day, is it cool? Yes, 100%. But Taz Wilson and Chucky Williams have signed with the Tucson Sugar Skulls. So we'll kind of go around the horn real quick on this one. What are your guys' thoughts on these moves for Tucson? We'll go to Cody first.
They've needed to change at quarterback with Casey Otto refusing to report. I don't know if they throw Taz Wilson in there. Obviously, he's been a veteran of the game, multiple leagues, multiple teams, all of that stuff. If they throw him in there, that does provide some veteran experience, but I don't know if that's enough to get this offense over the hump. I don't know. And then to add Chucky Williams to the defensive side, I don't know if the defense was necessarily an issue. Their defenses looked all right, but I guess you can't go wrong adding more veteran presence when it comes to that. I don't know the last time Chucky Williams played because I remember him playing all the way back in like 21 or 22 with Massachusetts. So I don't know if he's continued his game going forward, but at the same time, to bring him in kind of like raised my eyebrows going like, wait, he's coming back? So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't know if it's going to translate to wins, but you definitely get some veteran firepower in there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Krish. Chucky Williams, former Pirates player, right?
Yeah, your former, say that with pride, national champion, winning Pirates player. But no, look, hey, Chucky, I'm so happy for Chuck Dog Grady, man. Hey, that's the rap name. Y'all go check him out. He's been on the show before. I'm telling you, man, he is, I had the privilege to be around so many players, coming through and just watching behind the scenes. And, Chucky's one of those guys. He's an emotional leader, right? And some people don't value emotional leadership enough, unfortunately. But being an emotional leader, it means a lot. And sometimes that outweighs making plays. And that can translate to making plays too. So I think Chucky, he's been training. He's in great shape. He spent time as defense coordinator at his high school. They won a state championship, so now he's back on the playing field. I'm really happy for him, and I can't wait to watch him. Now we got 3 former Pirate players over there in Tucson, and then on the other side, Taz Wilson signing with Tucson. That's kind of weird. It's a strange move.
That's former Pirate Taz Wilson.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to give him the shine too.
We're having a little bit of issues with our IFL guest and his devices at the moment, but we'll try and get it figured out. There you go. Chucky Williams is great. Great player, great addition for Tucson, and honestly kind of surprising, like Cody said. So
do you think he looks at the banner in Boston and goes, I did that?
Honestly, like Lobo will tell you, you don't think Lobo looks at that banner every time and gets emotional? I mean, come on, man. It means a lot. So I don't need a big, diamond. Like, I love what Vegas is doing with the championship rings, but I don't envy that. I'm happy with my banner or our banner or the team's banner. Like, looking at that banner gives me some sort of feeling. So that's it.
Lobo did make it. He said it earlier. I designed that. Of course I do.
Exactly. Like, I'll send it to you right after. You
okay, we'll get a picture of the banner. Dear Lord, guys.
Go through. I take a picture with
Bannergate.
This banner is getting a lot of attention all of a sudden. It's the most talked about banner in Massachusetts for sure. That nobody else cares about any other banners up there. That's without a doubt. But on that note, we're going to hit a quick commercial break. We have another special guest joining us, legendary coach Terry Bowden, currently hired by the Monroe Greenheads for his first forte into indoor football. So very excited about that. And we are also trying to get another IFL guest on. So we'll try and see if we can't get that figured out while we got Coach Bowden on. But stick with us. There's still a ton left to come. Believe it or not, we're actually going to finish up this episode with a head coach interview as well with Jim Britton of Eau Claire Axeman. I was supposed to play this interview last week. I totally blanked it. So you guys are getting extra credit today. So hang out with us. There's still plenty left to come. Speaking of plenty more to come.
Hi, everyone. This is TJ from Shady Sports Network. I am excited and proud to be the first one to announce that we as a network are introducing a digital magazine, official one called Shady Sports Magazine. As many of you know, the bread and butter of our network is covering arena and indoor football, and that's exactly what this magazine is going to be about. It is going to be the first ever arena and indoor football central magazine, all the leagues included. You're going to also have a bunch of articles in there about past teams, going down memory lane. It's just going to be a one-stop shop for the already diehard fan. It's going to be an easy spot to get all of your info, no matter which league or however many of the leagues you may watch. And for the new fan or the casual fan, it may help you turn into a diehard fan now, because you're going to be able to get all the info super quick and easy, sent directly into your email. We will announce in the upcoming weeks when the inaugural issue is going to be released. And believe me, we will definitely keep you updated on our shows and network as a whole on how to sign up for that list to get it. Email for free every month. Thank you to the fans, and thank you for everyone watching. As always, like, follow, share, subscribe, and most important, enjoy the show and keep watching. Thank you, and see you guys later.
All right, we are back with legendary coach Terry Bowden of the Monroe Greenheads. Coach Bowden, how are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Glad to be on the show, and excited about being a part of the arena. I'm new to the league.
Absolutely, and actually, that brings me to our first question today.
Yeah.
I mean, what led you to arena football?
Well, Monroe, I've been a head coach just under 30 years as a head coach in college, and I was finishing up at the University of Louisiana, Monroe, and I was going to retire in the area. And so I stayed in the area. It's a great fishing and duck hunting area, as you've heard of the Duck Dynasty people from here. And so I stayed around, and then I said, well, I'm not going to move around and go coach anymore. I've had a lot of years. But then arena came to Monroe. And then somebody said, hey, Coach, what are you doing? I said, I'm retired. He said, well, we got a new league here. I said, no, all year long. He said, well, no, we're a summer league. And it just seemed to fit perfect. And you know what? I've watched some of the other types of sports, and specifically the hot thing out there now is like the Savannah Bananas. And I said, this looks fun. And then I watched y'all's videos of Arena 7-on-7 and the Arena League, and I said it looks like it's entertaining, good family fun, and I can stay right here in Monroe, and I don't have to be retired yet. So all that's a long answer to I was here and they asked, and it seemed like a fun thing to do.
That's awesome. I mean, hey, we love the background on that, and awesome. Honestly, it's kind of awesome how that all came together. But Cody, do you have any questions for Coach Bowden?
Yeah. So first of all, welcome on, Coach. Glad to have you here. As you've taken over as the coach of the Monroe Greenheads, can you kind of explain the similarities from the college game to the TAL in terms of like recruiting? It's not necessarily the 5-star you're going out there, but you never coached in the realm of NIL, and now you're going to deal with having to pay players. You're going to have to deal with trying to find that, quote, 5-star or that diamond in the rough and develop them for a completely different game than what college is. So what similarities, what differences are going to be at your disposal, I guess, when it comes to getting the right guys for your scheme in this game?
I believe we might be having some technical difficulties with Coach. We're going to have him pop back out and come back in. Cody, that was a great question. Hold on to it. Yep. Hold on to it. We're going to get him back in as soon as we possibly can. To stay on the topic of TAO, the Monroe Greenheads recently had a tryout, and it sounds like it went pretty well. But now that Coach is back, let's see if we can't get him on. Coach, can you hear us now?
I hear you now. I don't know what happened, but that's part of digital.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cody, go ahead with your question, sir.
All right, first of all, can you hear me? Because we do have
I got you. I can hear everybody.
I got you. All right, so the question I had, I'll see if I can dumb it down a little bit, but you're going from the college game practically to here.
Right.
But the recruiting is still there. You're not going for 5 stars or anything like that.
Sure.
And you never recruited in the NIL era, but now you're paying players and you still have to recruit in the TAL game. What similarities, what differences are there when it comes from the college game to now to trying to find your, quote, 5-star or that diamond in a rough for this league?
Well, I think the one thing that's helped me now that I'm kind of getting a feel for the Arena League is that I was a head coach. I started out, Division III, Division II, Division I AA, Division Group of 5, and Group of 4. I've been a head coach at every level of football, NAI and NCAA, and you don't get 5 stars at Division III. You don't get 5 stars at Division II. You don't get 5 stars at Group of 5 very often. But you've got to find the diamond in the rough. You've got to know what you can get. So the first thing I'm learning is what level of athlete can I go after? What level of athlete can I actually get to come here? We've got a salary cap, and we want to stay within that salary cap. And so what you do is you find guys you think, and because within 30 miles of Monroe, we've got ULM, North Ludman, we got Grambling and La Tech. So we do have some drive-in distance areas with football players, and I have coaches from my staff that went and worked for La Tech and worked for Grambling. So I know kids that have gotten out. And so the key, I think, is that the similarity is understand what level you are and who you can go after and have a chance to get. That you're not going to be able to offer double the money everybody else. You don't have that kind of money, and you have a limit. And then you can't go after the most talented. And then also, we try to have a budget at this level that's sustainable. We'd like to have a team next year and the year after. So how many guys can you pay for room and board this first year? You got to remember, I just got offered the job 2.5 weeks ago. We are behind the 8 ball a little bit. So I said, oh my gosh, my dad was at Florida State as a head coach. My brother was a head coach at Clemson. I'm gonna go get all these players that play for people that we know. Well, you can't afford. How are you gonna get them here? How are you gonna house them? How are you gonna feed them? A lot of those issues I can't get solved. So the answer is get as many local players that played at these 3 institutions that are close by, that can live at home, can play, and are very good football players. Sprinkle in a ringer or 2 that you think you might be able to get. And I think that's the answer for us. And we'll know a little bit more when we open up against the Iowa Woo. But we have to pick what we can get.
Yeah, I love how you put that. I mean, it's not as simple as just going out and throwing money at people. Not in indoor football. So, TJ, do you have any questions for Coach?
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Coach.
Yeah.
In terms of going from college to the Arena League, in terms of play style, abilities that you can do, the difference in players, what excites you the most about, scheming and things like
Right.
that are going to be different?
Well, I think the one thing that all coaches have now in the summer, we all have 7-on-7 leagues. And you think, well, we all do 7-on-7, but once you start watching our games, it's not just like 7-on-7 that you see in high school or in the summer camps. I was amazed how much more they run the football, how many people they rush the passer. I was thinking this is going to be like a college 7-on-7 drill in practice, or a summer league where you throw it every down, and so there is some running involved, I found out, and there's a few different areas. But also how much you got to understand, because it's very different playing football and calling plays on a 50-yard field as opposed to a 100-yard field. You're almost in the red zone the entire game. And the red zone changes the way defensive people play you. It changes the things you can do. So there are some things that I think that I've studied and watched video of that I'm going to have to adapt to and understand. But the concept, I've been coaching. I became a head coach in college in 1983. Jimbo Fisher was the first high school quarterback I ever signed, and now he's probably retired and fired, making $100 million. But I started out where you huddled every town. You had a bunch of time and you called huddles. Then I got to know huddle where I was able to signal in plays. And now now college football has microphones in the helmets, which I never got to. They started that right after I left. But I am good at calling plays fast, no huddle, trying to communicate with players on the field through sign language or through numbers on your wrist. And so I think those kind of things will be adaptable to what I have done in the past. But where I've got to really continue to study is, but how are people going to rush your passer? How are you going to block? How are you going to block and release? All these, there's some neat things that I'm interested in playing, and we may get our ass whipped a little bit before we figure out how to do it, but we're going to figure it out as we go. The best way I can do is we're going to learn on the go, because we're not going to have a whole lot of time with a game in 30 days away from our first game. We don't have a lot of time to get all the answers to everything.
Coach, on that note, have you had any opportunity to connect with any of the coaches currently in the league to kind of bounce ideas off them? Have they been very accepting of you coming in?
Well, the owner of our program, Jeff Hughes, owns the Iowa Woo. And so he's been a good sounding board for me. I guess he wants to win every game in Iowa, and he wants to win every game here now. And we got some local people that may end up sponsoring our team. But right now, I've been able to communicate with him, with some of the people in our league, but mostly and a defensive coordinator that has been, I look for I'm not a student or a product of arena coaching, So I wanted to get a defensive coordinator that has been in the league, played and coached in the league, that would understand a little bit of the nuances, the differences about the league. And so, but my owner has been very good about knowing a lot about the league. And again, I grew up with watching arena football. It's just it varies from 8-man to 7-man. Maybe there was 9-man, but I've seen it all. But again, I've got an owner that has a team and has a league, and his coach has been in the league, in the business a lot. And so we've been able to at least get some ideas. I think it's important to the league that we all have some success. I think he said, I don't know if he wants me to repeat this, he says, shoot, if every team would win 4 at home and lose 4 away, we'd all be happy. I don't know that I'd be happy or my fans would be happy, but from a league standpoint, I think everybody's trying to help each other have a good league.
That's awesome. That is one benefit to having some central ownership in the league for sure. But so you kind of briefly mentioned it there. Have you hired anybody in terms of coaching staff so far?
Yeah, I hired my offensive coordinator. Of course, I've always called play. I said, you know what, the one thing I miss, because I'm about 5'6", so even when I played in college, I was a walk-on that rode the bench most of the time at West Virginia University. So my fun has always been calling plays. And throughout my career, whether it was as a head coach at Samford University or Auburn, I call plays. And so I kind of said, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to get back and be my own play caller. But I did hire an offensive coordinator who was on my staff at ULM. And the good thing about that, he was my DFO here. And of course, in college football lingo, that's director of football operations. That means he's already had to go to all the restaurants, all the hotels, all the eating establishments, and figure out how to get free meals or this or that. All the things you have to do. We've had to do for our team here. And so, orthopedics, trainers, equipment people, we've had to hire people like that. So he's been wonderful in that area, but he also can help me with the offense. And then I'm in between. I hired a defensive coordinator. Something else came up, and so I'm right now talking to defensive coordinators, still trying to stay in Arena League with a defensive coordinator. Of course, we got 15 days right now before our players can report. They're giving me one more tryout day. I'm going to have that Sunday is my final trial. I think trials were supposed to be over, but because our team got here so late, they're giving me one more tryout date. And I hopefully will have a coach by next week on defense. But even that last tryout date was important because y'all probably know this, but I know it from having coached at every level of college football. Every single player in college thinks they're going to the NFL. And so we had to wait till after the draft so that all those players at ULM and La Tech and Grambling who were not going in the NFL, who thought they were going in the NFL, will answer the phone when I call them because they don't answer the phone or come to tryout when they think they might have a chance to play at some other league. But that's common anywhere. So right now, hopefully we'll get a good tryout day on Sunday with what we've already got, and we can kind of solidify our team. I was mentioned, Sam, to you earlier, I have a hard time finding a center. I got to find a center. I mean, I'm thinking I've got to find receivers and defensive backs and linebackers. Dang, I got to find me a center that can snap the ball 5 yards. That may be as important as anything I get, is finding a center. So, and I know that I will. We'll find one. But anyway, but it's been I'm in the process of hiring one more coach. And then you've got a local equipment manager. Do you have an equipment manager? Do you have, all these things coaches already have done in the league. I've still got to know who's going to be my trainer, who's going to be my equipment manager, who's going to be this and that. And so I'm kind of get all that stuff solidified because I know, having done this a long time at every possible level of football, I may be wearing a lot of hats come first day.
That is a facet of arena football coaching that is definitely accurate. Cody, do you have any more questions for Coach?
Yeah, I got one. It's kind of a silly one, but looking at your resume and everything from all the years of coaching, I think, and we'll probably have to fact check it, Auburn claims the national title from 1993, correct?
Yes, they do.
I think that is the first and possibly only time that a father-son duo has won a national championship within the same year. Because I believe Bobby did it in the 90s and 93, correct?
93. I'm pretty sure it is. And
Yeah.
if Dad were still alive today, he passed away 5 years ago, he'd be laughing at me. He said, Terry, I won it. You didn't win it. I won it. I got to give you some background on that, because in 91,
Yeah.
they went away from dual national championships. They had an UPI and AP, and Georgia Tech and Colorado won it one year. So they stopped doing that. Well, in 93, I got the job because the previous coach was on probation. He got dismissed, fired. The school went on probation back when they held that up. Nowadays, they wouldn't even do it. So we got put on probation like a month before the season. We couldn't play for a championship. We couldn't play in the bowl games. We weren't allowed to be on TV. The last team in America, they took off TV, so nobody ever saw a single game. Well, son of a gun, we go out there and win it. They had a losing record. We go out and win every single game. And we're the only team that's undefeated in America. But we can't play for the daggum and I'm the youngest coach in the country, and I'm the first coach ever to go undefeated in his first year Division I, and we can't even play for a championship. And you know who wins the championship? My old man at Florida State. He beat Nebraska, wins the championship. And in my best year of my life, I'm the second best coach in my own family. I'm not even number one in my family. Well, about 5 years ago, Auburn got so tired that Alabama says they have 18 national championships, and 9 of them came back when you had multiple champions. So Auburn says, you know what? If we have any team that got named by somebody as a champion, we're going to recognize that. So we were named national champions in 93 by the National Football Federation or something. And so it's up on the side of the stadium, national champions. And so I said, heck yes, our players love it. And we were the only undefeated team in the country when the season was over. And but we weren't allowed to be the AP or the coaches' national champion. So my dad, thank goodness he doesn't have to look at, well, he's looking down at it right now, I should say. But it is the only, it's funny because in the 1990s, in 93, I went undefeated and won the national and national coach of the year award. In 98, my brother Tommy at Tulane went undefeated and was the national coach of the year. Then in 99, my dad was undefeated national champion, national coach of the year. We had a hot run going there in the 90s. That's for sure.
Well, that was going to be my silly question. I'm a huge Nebraska Cornhusker fan. So my question to you is, why was your dad so good at beating Nebraska?
You know what? And that's a great question, and people aren't old enough to know that. My dad and Tom Osborne were the closest of friends. They were very similar, although my dad's kind of a bubbly guy, and Tom's a very stoic kind of Midwestern guy. Their values, their strengths, their personality, they just loved each other. But Tom came from the run it, old-fashioned football, little big lineman, corn-fed lineman, great freshman program where they built kids up and developed them, and they won games by being physically overpowering. Well, Dad was in the state of Florida where you had track, you had tons of athletes, and he began to win by having safeties that played linebacker and linebackers that played defensive end, and speed from Deion Sanders to Peter Warwick and those kind of guys. And so when he would play Nebraska, his speed would beat him, would beat him. And I know Tom told my dad when Nebraska won the national championship in 90, they won it in 94, 95, then won it again in 98. They began to do the same thing. They began to get athletes that could run. And of course, they beat the snot out of Florida the last time they won the championship in the 90s. But that was the whole deal. Florida State had too much speed, and the transition of football to 4 wideouts or 3 wideouts was something that Florida State was ahead of. And although Tom never changed what he did at Nebraska, he changed the philosophy of the size of the players and what won ball games. You win with speed more than you do with strength in football. Although you got to have both, but you win basically speed kind of out trumps of strength in the scoring parts of football.
Appreciate it, Coach. Everything that you and your dad have done for college football and everything beyond it. Rooting for you guys.
Thank you, man.
TJ, do you have any last questions?
Yeah, I do have one last one. Obviously talking a lot about your college coaching history and experience. Now that you've been involved in the Arena League for a little while, only a few weeks, but getting to really become acquainted with the league and meet people within it, how excited are you about being in the TAL this year, and also the future that it has in terms of popularity?
Well, I am excited. That's one of the. I don't think I would have gotten back into coaching. I'm not. I've had plenty of years, but I still when they offered me the job and it excited me. That's what I needed to feel inside, that fire in my belly. That this is going to be, and it seemed like it was fun and entertaining, and the fans were engaged, and all those things. It's a close sport that's close to the fans. You know, a lot of people wonder why Oregon plays great college football because the stadium's right on top of the field. They're right on top of people, and so that's part of arena football. And so, but I am excited about it. I do believe in Monroe, where football is king, mostly college football in northern Louisiana, but still, it's football is the main sport. But I think it needs to be a family. It needs to be wholesome. It needs to be something that people can bring their kids to. We have a minor league hockey team here called the Moccasins. They've done incredibly well for a state that doesn't really have hockey. They love the hockey program, and we've looked at what they've done in attendance. And I think and again, I don't want to say it, I'm 70 years old. I'm not going to be here forever coaching arena ball. But what I liked about Jeff Hughes and the team, the Arena League, is they said, teams come and go, and arena leagues do come and go a good bit. You've got to have sustainability. And I believe they've got limitations on what you can spend in a lot of areas, and they make it, I believe, affordable. I mean, yeah, we don't have goalposts. We don't have kickers. We have a lot of things that have been a part of the game that really aren't a necessary part of the game. I don't like watching extra points. I don't really like watching a guy kick the ball off. Just soon have a guy throw it. So I think what this league has done is said, how long is our schedule? How big is our salary cap? How many players do we have on the field at one time that we got to pay for? I think all those things, I'm hoping that it will mean sustainability. Not only can we have fun, we can win, we can pay our bills and make a little money, but we can do it more than 1 year. And I think that's what I see that I'm excited about for the city of Monroe. Because again, this league, hopefully this team will last longer than I will, that I'll win and I'll be successful. And then we'll bring somebody in to follow me as the head coach that's got a little more youth, a little younger than I am.
Love that sentiment there at the end that you're trying to build something for the future. Yeah. Real quick before we let you get out of here, Coach, How can players reach you if they're interested in coming to play for the Greenheads?
Well, we've got our website. We've got our website, or how they can get our fan. I know Facebook and those like that. I still get emails and stuff, and I'm learning how to communicate with social media on our team. I am on social media, but I do podcasting a lot. That's my other job is podcasting. I have a studio in my home, but people can reach us. Those who want to reach us right through our Facebook page or our website, where we have, I think it's more of our social media connection. We have people that are in the main office, in the front office, that handle most of that, but they pass along information. And I know I've had quite a few players. We had more players try out because we had to go right off the tryouts. We had a bunch the first time, and we had one more, and we're expecting a lot of players on Sunday. And then I don't think we'll need quite as many people inquire about how to try out. We'll probably, as everybody does, we'll need that ringer, that one great player here that just got, I think there's a league that finishes up here this week or next week. One of the arena team leagues finishes up. And if I'm correct, a lot of the players like to jump from a league that's over to another league that's still playing. And I got a feeling there'll be some players that come about late.
You are probably right. Coach, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate you coming on. We wish you nothing but luck in 2026 and beyond, and we're looking forward to seeing what the Greenheads put on the field.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate y'all.
Definitely. You have a great rest of your day, Coach.
All right.
Thank you so much. Just wanted to throw this out there. If you want to get a hold of the Greenheads and you have interest in playing in them and you're a local player, reach out to Shady Sports and we can help connect you with Coach as well. So on that note, we're going to hit a quick commercial break, then we'll be back with a very special IFL guest, and then we will close this bad boy out for the day. I know it's getting a little lengthy, but we got a lot of content for you, a lot of great guests, a lot of great stuff to talk about in this great sport that we all love that brings us here this morning. So on that note, quick commercial.
The mountains you climb, maybe stairs. The records you set, maybe personal. The fans you inspire, maybe family. No lights, no camera, just action. You don't have to be a pro. You just need HoneyStinger.
How many times a week?
Like three, four times maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
I'm just being myself, cool as can be. When I'm being myself, you wish you were me.
It's so easy. Get out your own way.
It's just so easy.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Joe. Before I mispronounce your name incorrectly, what is your last name?
Pequeno.
Pequeno. Okay. That's what I thought it was, but I didn't want to insult you by mispronouncing your name. I'm very big on pronouncing names correct. So,
And you know, it's funny you say that because I've had my name butchered so many times that every time I meet someone new and they say my name wrong, I'm like, that's fine. And you just keep going because after a while, it's been butchered over and over again. It's almost comical.
that's fair. That's fair. I do not have that problem myself. My last name is very easy to understand, so I definitely cannot relate there. But it's something my father taught me. You always try to make sure you get somebody's name correct. It's a sign of respect. So, Cody, given that this is an IFL guest, I'm going to let you kick off the questions, my friend.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to lead in with more of that, but all right. What's up, Joe? How's it going?
Cody, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Where are you at right now? What game are you broadcasting tonight?
Actually, I'm not calling a game this weekend. I spent the
Really?
last 3 weeks calling games. Last game I called was San Antonio, Northern Arizona, but I'm actually going to go watch San Antonio. I'm going to meet Randy Carroll, the owner of the Gunslingers, over in Tucson tonight, and we're
Okay.
going to watch that game because it's just like anything else, gentlemen. Like, I won't call a game for a couple weeks, but while the team's in Arizona, they're at Tucson this week, they're at Northern Arizona the following week. I'll go to those sites, watch the team. That way I'm up to date on what they've done. And that way all I've got to do is just kind of really start prepping for the next team they're playing. So right now I'm already prepping for the San Diego team, which entails looking up bio information on players, you know, where they played college ball. Look, I even go back to high school. I look up Max Preps. You never know when you might find some interesting articles on young men who've come up that have overcome some kind of adversity in their life that all of a sudden in the course of a broadcast, you can drop some information on, because in the IFL, there's always some dead time with replays. And, you know, during those times, I try to pass on some information or something that, you know, that's insightful to the audience. You know, I try not to allow too much dead air, because I think as a broadcaster, you owe it to the audience to do your research, to do your homework on the team and the players, and maybe even some historical information about the arena they're playing in, and just provide some more context to the game.
Yeah, they've had you out in the Southwest for quite a few games to call and things like that. Was that a planned thing? Did the IFL reach out to you from last offseason to say, hey, we're interested in you being kind of one of these mainstay broadcaster play-by-play guys for New Mexico or San Antonio or Tucson or whoever it may be? Because we know we've got plenty of broadcasters out there in the Southwest.
Well, the way it worked, so in the IFL, I was on sidelines for the Arizona Rattlers for 3 years. And when Jared Widman, the president of the IFL, he came to me, and look, I've been wanting to call play-by-play in this league forever. And it's just like anything else you do in life, fellas. It's like you do certain things, and after you pay your dues, you're like, okay, when's my opportunity going to come, right? So they came to me and they're like, hey, would you want to go to San Antonio, New Mexico? I would have went anywhere, because, you know, when you get the opportunity, you go. You don't care, right? It's just like, let's just go. Let's go and let's do this. Go give it 150 miles an hour of dedication and effort. So I call all of San Antonio's home games, and I've got a good relationship with the people there. The people there, Randy Carroll, Don Rackler, the owners there are tremendous. April Stubing, PR, Jonathan Bain, the head coach. I actually went there before the season started on my own dime just to go to their training camp and meet the players and team and just let them know, look, I'm coming, and I'm coming with a commitment, not just to call your game, but to give it an extra level, because everything you do in life, fellas, it's about effort and energy. And my goal is to really make my mark in the IFL and then parlay it to the next opportunity. But I love the league, and I'm thankful for Jared Widman, Tommy Tryon, the commissioner of the league, to give me the opportunity. And I feel blessed. So my next opportunity is in 2 weeks. Am I disappointed I'm not calling a game? Of course. And every broadcaster would be. But in the meantime, you get ready, you prepare for it like it's the Super Bowl. So in the meantime, my focus is San Diego. I'll go to the game tonight. I've started kind of prepping my bio notes for San Diego, and then I'll watch their games tomorrow. But then along the way, I'll start prepping for other teams down the road that I don't have my bio notes scheduled for, like, Orlando as well as the Arizona Rattlers. So I'll start getting all those notes. So when I get to those game weeks, my notes are done. And I'm basically just putting my, kind of my game day format together. So I'm ready to go and ready to call a game.
Well, as far as Orlando goes, if you ever need any advice, definitely don't call Krish, because he'll just tell you that they're the greatest team ever and that everything's great. But on that note, I wanted to talk to you a little bit. I mean, obviously you've have quite the background in broadcasting in general, whether it's, in the IFL or the college level or what have you. I mean, in fact, if I'm correct here and your bio is correct, 7-time Emmy winner. So for you, what was it about the IFL in general that kind of drew you in? I mean, you've got a resume that, in my mind, you could go anywhere or damn near do anything.
Well, it's very nice of you to say that, but that's not true. So, I bet you're thinking, oh, the resume is sexy, this or that. And that's not the case, because it like right now, every opportunity, I have to go and earn every opportunity. So let me give you some more context. So I call play-by-play for a bunch of local outlets here. It started with Park University Gilbert, NAIA. I call for Chandler Gilbert Community College and Seton Catholic High School, amongst a variety of outlets here in Arizona. And I reach out to people all the time. And I get no. So like I reached out to about 20 schools out in the West Coast, and Cal State Bakersfield was like, sure, we'll have you. And you know what I do, fellas? My wife's family's from there, so I always got a place to stay. So when Cal State Bakersfield gave me the opportunity, I've crossed the border. I call soccer, I call softball and volleyball for them. And honestly, I break even on the trips just by having a place to stay. But you got to get that on your resume. You got to show people that you're willing to go wherever. So the IFL, like I mentioned, I called sidelines for the Arizona Rattlers for 3 years. And honestly, they asked me initially if I wanted to come back and do sidelines, and I wasn't going to do it, because I felt like I've got a lot more to the table, and I bring a lot more to the table than a lot of people, just by the effort and energy I put in. And so I love the league. I look, for me, I just love everything about the league. It's just fun entertainment. It's a good time. The fan base is loyal and they're passionate. The players are great. And you got to remember, these are guys that are just longing for the next opportunity to jump to the potential, the CFL, or maybe get an NFL look. So these guys are going balls out all the time. I mean, I got a kid like, I'm going to name drop a kid, Dion Cook of San Antonio, the Gunslingers. He came from lower tier Texas Permian Basin, a D2 school. And this guy, his catch radius is off the charts. And it's like, this kid could be playing in the CFL soon, or the NFL. So for me, and then you get to meet these guys, and a lot of these kids are so humble and they were overlooked, and you hear some of their backstories, how they went to an NFL camp and they got overlooked because they were a free agent, signee and didn't get the opportunity in the preseason that some of these guys get because they were picked in the 3rd or 4th round. And obviously the money's allotted to them. And I hear all these stories. So I love everything about the league. And now that I'm a fixture in it, I'm blessed to be in it. So it's like, it's not just I'm in the IFL. I look at this as like Cal State Bakersfield. They gave me an opportunity. The IFL gave me my opportunity. So it means something to me. It's special to me. It means something. So, and Sam, I kid you not, when you reached out to me on LinkedIn, and like, I love LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn's a beautiful platform that we all connect with. The fact that here I am on your show right now, and you thought enough of me to have me on your show, I feel blessed just to be talking to you guys right now and to showcase my thoughts on the league and where my broadcast career is now and where I'm hoping to take it to.
Well, let me just thank you for your time, first of all, this morning, because as a fan, what really strikes me when I'm watching a broadcast is those nuggets of information that you mentioned before. When a broadcaster can pull a fact from a guy's high school career, or even if something as small as, hey, this is man, I'm blanking a name off the top of my head, but this guy played in the CFL for a little bit and then he signed with this team. He's looking to get an opportunity outdoors or whatever it may be. That stuff adds to the broadcast as a fan, because it's stuff that you may not have picked up on unless you're someone that's really doing that background research and stuff that you obviously do. So, I mean, it's something that, we've all noticed as, avid fans of the game when you've called the game. So it's been something that's been really refreshing to hear, because to be completely honest, and I mean this as no disrespect to anybody that's currently doing it for any league out there, but there are some broadcasters that you can sit and listen and you can tell that they really don't quite understand the intricacies of the game like a man like you does. However, I should have said that. So it really kind of it adds to the broadcast value, in my opinion. And I think from a fan's perspective, when you can get those little nuggets in there and stuff like that.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that, but you got to understand that. And I think anyone who is passionate about broadcasting, and I am, you have to be a student of broadcasting. And when I say this, and maybe this is something you take for yourselves going forward, is that you have to watch people that you respect, that are just at a higher level, that do it so good that you're like, and you listen to them and you watch their demeanor, their cadence and everything, and you take it in, and you're absorbing information. So I watch, like, for me, the gold star, when I watch a broadcaster, there's no one better than Mike Tirico. No one. And the reason why I say that is because Sunday Night Football, Tirico is so good. First off, he's humorous. He engages well with Chris Collinsworth. Everything is just so smooth. The transitions, everything. He's great. He's got great information. He's exciting. He's everything. And so I always watch him, but I watch people all the time, even if it's just like I might catch a game for like 10 minutes and I'm just listening and I'm like, So I think as a broadcaster, you owe it to your viewing audience to care, to do some homework. I mean, look, anyone could just go call a game and just run it through, every quarter. But it's like, you got to know what the records are. You got to know what the quarterback did the following week. You got to know who the leading receiver is. You got to know who's leading the team in tackles and, what's the history between the teams and just some basic information. So it's like, I mean, fellas, how am I going to make my mark if I'm not better than anyone else out there? Literally, Sam, and I want this to be maybe the first of many conversations we have where you're like, so Joe, where are you now? Right. And it's like, and the only way I'm going to get there is by like showing people when they listen to me that I'm coming with an effort and I'm bringing energy and I'm bringing context and I'm bringing great calls and personality and because my style to a broadcast, whether it was local news or now calling games, is, bring context, information, energy, humor, funny calls. And remember, at the end of the day, have fun with the broadcast. I am not splitting an atom. I'm not trying to find plutonium in the desert. I am not trying to put a man on the moon. I'm calling a game. So my job is to steer the ship, be informative, have fun with my my analyst, and just bring context and bring energy and effort. That's what I try to do, and that's my philosophy, and that's what I will always bring to a telecast.
Absolutely. TJ, do you have any questions for Joe?
Well, first off, I just want to say I want to echo Sam's comment. You can definitely tell there's nothing more annoying for an arena or indoor fan than watching a telecast and having the guy say on air, "We have to look that up. We're not sure how that works." So, better broadcasting definitely adds to the overall product for sure. In terms of the IFL as a league, with all the exciting news, obviously Yahoo Sports overnight, just announcing, a new expansion team. What extra buzz have you noticed this season that's different from past years in terms of excitement and really eyes on the sport this year?
Well, I think that the level of professionalism that the league is really trying to lift everything up, with the broadcast partners with Yahoo and Overnight, Jared Whitman, the president of the IFL, they're just trying to bring a more professional tone from team to team to make sure that when the viewers dial into the game, that it looks good, it looks great, sounds great, it's a professional broadcast. You got people that are calling the games, they're doing a good job. And look, the fan bases will continue to grow. Obviously, winning helps. So when I go to the Snake Pit and watch the Arizona Rattlers, look, they've been winning for years. Kevin Guy's a tremendous coach. The fans are there, right? Vegas and Mike Davis, who I think right now, and look, I haven't seen Green Bay. I know Green Bay beat Vegas early in the year, but Vegas was on the doorstep and literally fumbled the ball inside the 5, or they could kick the field goal in the game. As far as I'm concerned, Vegas is the team to beat because I just called their game a couple weeks ago, and Jaden DeLora, Quentin Randolph, Josh Tomas, that veteran offensive line with Christian Coulter, Sidney Walker, as well as Moses Mallory, and all these great young players they got defensively. They're the team to beat as far as I'm concerned in the league. But I just think there is such a professionalism growing with the league on the broadcast side, and that leads to more viewership. But I also think where the league can continue to grow is the marketing of the league, where, I mean, there's still people like inside the state of Arizona who I talk to. They're like, what league are you in? What teams are in there? It's like they really don't know. Like the passionate people that know the indoor games, they know. But I think the next phase for the IFL is kind of to be like, in a sense, like how the NFL is. And the NFL year round is in your face, right? They're always like in your face with the draft or this or that, off-season workouts, this or that. I think the IFL just has to do a better job at some point just to continue the marketing of the league so it becomes mainstream. But there is an excitement with the league, the growth, the broadcasting, the rights and everything. And Brent Stover, who's the director of broadcasting for the league, he brings such legitimacy to the league and does such a tremendous job. And I consider him a friend and a mentor. So I go back and I watch Brent's games and try to make myself better. So I think there's a tremendous growing passion with the league because of the standards that are trying to be uplifted by Jared Whitman, the president, as well as Commissioner Tryon and the league, just to exemplify professionalism, style, class, and just trying to raise the bar overall.
I got a question for you. Was it decided in the off season who like your color analyst would be, sideline and stuff like that? Kind of speak a little bit about Tessa Barrera, Smacker Miles, and how that's all coming to be. Because like I said, once you guys get all together, that broadcast is amazing, and what you guys have been able to do.
Wow, that's so nice of you to say. I mean,
Cody, to be able to ping pong off of each other.
I mean, I got to tell you, that's first off, it warms my heart that you say that, and just the fact that the three of you have such nice words to say about me and Tessa and Smacker. it really warms my heart. And I got to tell you, it's 7:45 in the morning. I probably just woke up an hour ago, but I got to tell you, after this conversation with the three of you, I'm ready to go to the gym and take it down to DEFCON 1 and just freaking pump weights and get my Pete Mitchell Maverick workout in. Just think, just do, and ready to get after it. So the words are just simply fantastic. But, I am blessed. I am blessed to work with good people, first and foremost. And just like the three of you working together, you gotta like the people you work with, right? And I am blessed to be working with just decent people. And first and foremost, I have worked broadcasting. While it might look sexy, you're a product of people you work with. And I've worked with all kinds of people, good, bad, indifferent, selfish, narcissistic people, and all kinds of attitudes, right? And at the end of the day, look, I just want to come to work, do my job, do it well, have fun with it. And I'm blessed with Tessa and Smacker are just tremendous. They're good people. Everyone just wants to do a good job, get along, and they're great people. The league decided on the of who was going to be where. So I initially heard Tessa call a game in New Mexico with another play-by-play announcer. And then I'm like, okay, this is who I was going to work with the following week. So I reached out to Tessa, as anyone should. Hello, how are you? And build a relationship with her. And then Smacker I met in my first broadcast in San Antonio. That was with Robert Turman. So Smacker and I have gotten to know each other. So now the three of us, we have each other's cells and emails, and we touch base, and we take pictures before every game. We say hello, and there's a camaraderie, because it's like broadcasting. I kid you not, fellas. It's just like a sports team. It's cohesion, it's synergy, it's working together, everyone being on the same page. And so Tessa and I mean, look, we've only called a handful of games together, but we now we're getting to know each other well after the San Antonio win against Northern Arizona, which was a big win for the team. They lost to Tulsa, a close game. They've had some. They went on the road, lost to the Rattlers in a game that defense had played bad. Offensively, they just didn't play that well. And then Vegas came in, and just like Vegas is at a different level. So for them, getting that first win was very big. So after the game, Don Rackler and Randy Carroll, the owners, were invited me up, and Tessa and I went up there and said hello to everyone. And just there's a special camaraderie. I'm a fan of Tessa. She's a great broadcaster. She's she's quick on her feet, good personality, good humor, and we've got a good chemistry on the mic and off of it. And I think Smacker's tremendous. So the league decides who is with who, but I'm blessed to work with great people. But you know what, fellas, it wouldn't matter who I was with. My job as a broadcaster is to be good no matter who I'm given to work with. So if I'm with Cody, if I'm with Sam, it doesn't matter. It's my job to make it a point as a guy who's guiding the ship to, extend an olive branch to meet everyone. How are you? Let's get together. Let's talk and build some cohesion, because broadcasting is that. It is about cohesion and being on the same page and be likable and like everyone you work with. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you work with people, at the end of the day, you're like, man, you got to shut it off, because they're just, they're all about themselves and very narcissistic. And I've been around that, and it's debilitating sometimes. But with Tessa and Smacker, A-class people, A-class performers, and I am blessed to work with them.
Just to throw out there, if the IFL is looking for broadcasters, Cody is way better equipped than I am. TJ, do you have any more questions for Joe?
Yeah, I do have one more. With the IFL Cup series coming up, are you gonna get a chance to be there for any of the games? And also, how excited are you in your thought about them trying the, as people are tagging it, the mall ball?
I look at that. I look at that as like the league is trying something, right? They're trying to build excitement, and you got to swing for the fence. It's sort of like these NBA, in season, little tournaments and things like that. I think it's a good thing for the league to continue to do to build excitement. The teams there are obviously marquee teams for the league. So I think it's going to be, I mean, the fact that you'll see Vegas and play the Rattlers in that kind of neutral site game, I think it's going to be great. The 4 teams there are all very good. Will I be part of it? No. Fellas, you got to understand, and I appreciate your kudos and everything for me. I am still building stripes in this league. So it's like I'm like that guy who I don't think the league thought, they're like, okay, we're going to give this Joe guy a chance, right? And I don't think they understood what I was going to bring to the table, because this has got to be, I've got to maximize this opportunity. I've got to come in here. I got to slay this league. This is not about just showing up and calling a game. This is like, for me, this is like, I'm using this and I'm reaching out to people all the time. So like directors on this broadcast, I've had the chance to meet the director from UTEP, another one from Tennessee, another one in Florida. So I'm reaching out to people all the time. So I won't be part of the IFL Cup. I am asking, and look, there's only so many slots because of playoffs, but there are going to be playoff games down the road, and needs to say, look, if I got a playoff game, I look at that as validation. But there's a lot of good announcers in our league, and if I don't, I just have to be blessed that I've come in this league this year and been given the opportunity to show what I'm worth. But you know what? When you have 2 weeks off, makes you hungry, man. And I got to tell you, I'm freaking hungry. And literally, that's why, I don't have to go to Tucson tonight, but I'm going there to see the team and see the players and, meet the Tucson ownership as well. And then I'm going to Northern Arizona next week. And then it's my final 4 games: San Diego, Tulsa, Rattlers, Orlando. So I've got 4 games left to really put my imprint on my first year in the league. And I can't stress enough, it means something to me to do a great job in this league, to show people what I'm capable of doing. I mean, I did local news for years, and when I won an Emmy for best sports anchor in the region, and fellas, this is what I tell people about broadcasting. When you first get in broadcasting, you suck. Then you suck a little. Then you're average. Then you're above average. Then you're good. Then you're really good. Then you're great. But it's an evolution. It's time. It's dedication put into the craft. No one just comes in a mic and they're great immediately. I mean, look, Tony Romo might be the exception as an analyst, right? He was just he made the smooth move from player to analyst. But I mean, for the most part, there's a time commitment put in. And think about me, it's almost like commercial real estate, which is another job I do. That's what I do because got to pay bills as I'm chasing the real world of what I want to do, which is play-by-play. But there's similarities, because commercial real estate is a slow burn of how deals take, the progression of it. That's how real estate, that's how broadcasting is as well. If you want to be good, you've got to put the time and effort into it to get better. You've got to study. You've got to do your homework. You got to watch other people. You got to go back and listen. Like I go back and watch and I listen to all my IFL games. I'm like, I could have said this better. I could have been better here. My recall here could have been quicker. You always have to evaluate. And that's how ultimately you get better. So unfortunately, no, IFL Cup, I won't be there. Maybe next year. I got 2 weeks off to kind of regroup, but I'm going to utilize this time. And I bet, so how does Joe utilize his time? And I reach out to people all the time. So I'm going to be sending out letters to all the Lone Star Conference schools to say, hey, do you need a play-by-play guy in the fall? I'll reach out. Like I just connected with director of broadcasting for University of Arkansas via LinkedIn, like Sam. Sam and I are buddies on LinkedIn now, right? So there's, and I'm going to reach out, and then the goal for the summer is trying to find an agent, but you just continue to build and let people know you're out there. And then and look, football is one of numerous sports I call baseball, softball, volleyball, soccer. And I'm committed to every sport I call. People ask me, what's my favorite sport to call? And I tell people the sport I'm calling that day, because I have the opportunity to call it. And I kid you not, when I called my first soccer game for Cal State Bakersfield, which was my first NCAA game I called, fellas, I studied both teams for months. So I knew history, backstory. So when it got to that second half, it was literally, I could tell you the matchup player versus player, and because that was my opportunity to shine on that platform. So, I'm hoping a playoff game will be in my future, but if it doesn't, I just continue to strive for excellence in the league, and I'm blessed to be part of the IFL this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we look forward to you calling the rest of the games this year, and hopefully you do get the call to call the playoffs. As you can tell, Cody would be a big fan of that. So thank you so much for your time this morning, Joe. We really appreciate it. And something tells me we'll be having conversations in the near future about you calling games at a higher level. So.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And Sam, Cody, and TJ, look, I am very thankful and I'm very appreciative that you've taken the time to first watch the IFL and to be such fans and to help the sport grow, but to also be a supporter of me and my team and everything that we're doing. And it means a lot, because that means we're doing things the right way. And I can't thank you enough. And I appreciate you having me on the show this morning. And if you ever need me on again, it's as simple as, Sam, you connect with me on LinkedIn, we make it happen.
Sounds great. We do have a question from the chat real quick, and I think this might be pertinent for anybody watching at home. Is the IFL the only league you'll consider calling?
I mean, the IFL is probably on the indoor league, but I mean, it really comes down to, right now I'm committed to the IFL, and I've been told strictly the IFL right now, I can't call other teams while the IFL is going on. But look, after the season's over, then you kind of recalibrate things, and then you start looking at the next opportunity. I mean, so if someone calls me in August, and I don't believe there's any leagues going on in August, but if someone says, hey, can you come and call a game? Sure. Because it's just about, it's about just continuing to grow your brand and showing people you're out there, and you never know who's watching, right, Sam? I mean, maybe one day you're in a position where you're the director of broadcasting for Yahoo or something to that degree, and you're like, I like Joe, and I really want him to call our East Tennessee State versus Georgia Southern game this weekend in Georgia. Look, I will go. I kid you not, I will go anywhere to call a game. And that's why I connect with people all the time. But right now, the IFL, there's a mandate. I'm in the league, but I'm hoping that I'm calling college football somewhere this fall. And look, it could be D3, it could be NAIA. It's just about the next step opportunity just to call games, and because it's the thing about football. You only have so many games, right? It's not like basketball or volleyball or baseball where there's 1,000 games per year. So since 2021, when I started first calling play-by-play, I only had a handful of games, high school. So I only called maybe 5 or 6 games every year. So you think about that over 5 years, it's really not a lot of games, right? It's not like 1,000 reps that you would get in any other sport. So the opportunity to continue to call football on another platform, because every game you get better and quicker, and things everything comes easier. There's just disseminating information is easy, but your calls get better, things get tighter. So it's like, for me, it's just, if there would be another league after the season's over that called me to call a game, sure, I'd entertain it. I'd talk to the people of the IFL out of respect, right? Because that's what you do, decency, right? transparency. Hey, want to let you know someone called me. Is it okay? Because the league, call me crazy. I believe in loyalty as well. So look, if unless next spring or 2 years from now, all of a sudden I get the opportunity to be calling NBA or college games, which I'd love to do. I'm in this league for as long as the league wants me to be here. But also as a broadcaster and continuing to try to swing for the fence, you're also looking at the next opportunity.
Absolutely, makes perfect sense. On that note, leagues, if you're looking for some broadcasters, Joe might be your guy. So reach out, and as you just heard, you can find him on LinkedIn. So on that note,
I'm always there. I kid you not, fellas. I'm reaching
resource.
out. I'm typing. I'm reaching out to people all the time, and sometimes I get crickets, and I get good people like Sam Shady reaching back and say, "Joe, I want you on your show," and boom, here we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Joe. We appreciate it, and like I said, we're looking forward to you calling your next game.
Fellas, look, if you ever need me on in a couple weeks, just let me know. And obviously, it's been a pleasure, and I wish you guys the best, and thanks for your support.
Thank you so much, and the support is mutual. So thank you for coming on and giving us a little bit of your time this morning.
Absolutely.
Have a great rest of your day. All right. On that note, we have pretty much wrapped up our topics for today. Oh, Krish, you conveniently show up after your guest leaves. What do you do?
I was just sitting back enjoying listening. I wanted to take it all in. Really enjoyed that. But all right, betting picks. I got to give my picks for this week.
Okay, I'm going to let you take the reins on that one. I need to step away for a moment. So on that note, go for it, and I will be right back.
Let me pull it up. Let me pull up the spreads.
Hi, everyone. This is TJ from Shady Sports Network. I am excited and proud to be the first one to announce that we as a network are introducing a digital magazine, official one called Shady Sports Magazine. As many of you know, the bread and butter of our network is covering arena and indoor football, and that's exactly what this magazine is going to be about. It is going to be the first ever arena and indoor football central magazine, all the leagues included. You're going to also have a bunch of articles in there about past teams going down memory lane. It's just going to be a one-stop shop for the already diehard fan. It's going to be an easy spot to get all of your info, no matter which league or however many of the leagues you may watch. And for the new fan or the casual fan, it may help you turn into a diehard fan now, because you're going to be able to get all the info super quick and easy, sent directly into your email. We will announce in the upcoming weeks when the inaugural issue is going to be released. And believe me, we will definitely keep you updated on our shows and network as a whole on how to sign up for that list to get it. Email for free every month. Thank you to the fans, and thank you for everyone watching. As always, like, follow, share, subscribe, and most important, enjoy the show and keep watching. Thank you, and see you guys later.
So, Cody, we'll have you go first since you don't believe in analysis. You go through and you can give your picks one by one.
Wow. Fishers. That's it. No, I mean, Fisher. I've got Fishers on the money line. I've got Quad City beating Iowa. I've got Jacksonville destroying New Mexico. I've got this one's a toss-up to me. I can see either team winning this one, but back against the wall, give me the Oilers when it comes to that. I got San Antonio. They look like the better team right now. I know Tucson has signed their players, but I think San Antonio is going to be all right. And then give me Vegas.
What about you, TJ?
Yeah, I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to go with Fishers as well. Then, obviously Quad City because Iowa's Iowa. Uh, Jacksonville over New Mexico. I'm going to go with San Diego over Tulsa. Then I'm going to go with the Gunslingers. And then, obviously, my Vegas Nighthawks.
Sure. So I'll give my picks. We'll start off top. I got Indy winning. I think it's a good opportunity for Green Bay. Last time they went on the road, they played Quad City, and that didn't go as planned. So, I mean, I feel like Green Bay won't be able to handle the environment in Indy. It's going to be Indy to win. I think they cover the spread. Quad City, Iowa. Iowa's probably going to pivot from Ivan Corbin at quarterback and start Dante Santos today. But I still like Quad City. Keon Williams coming back to where he started his professional career. So he'll have a big game. And Daquan Neal as well. Homecoming for both of them. I think Quad City by 10. I think Iowa can cover the spread, honestly. That Quad City defense, man, it's hard to watch. New Mexico and Jacksonville. New Mexico recently signed Arthur Jackson from San Diego, so obviously for them. I like New Mexico to cover the spread. Honestly, I think they'll be able to cover the spread. 18.5 is a big number. San Diego and Tulsa. I like San Diego to win the game. I think Tulsa's defense is, not ready for the challenge of Nate Davis and that offense. Final two, San Antonio and Tucson. I think Tucson can win at home. It'll be a close one. I like the under in that game too, under 78.5. Arizona and Vegas, this can be a look ahead game for Vegas. They might be too distracted by the glory of the IFL Cup, but I believe Vegas and Coach Davis can get it done. But give me Arizona plus 10.5 to cover the spread. That's the safest bet on the board. So, yep, those are mine. I guess for you guys, you look at Arizona, Vegas. What does Arizona have to do to beat Vegas?
Play a game. I mean, it's a toss-up. I don't know why the betting odds are as far as they are. I mean, you're looking at, I think Vegas, the casino is looking at what happened against New Mexico last week and went, hey, Vegas is good. Arizona has kind of struggled a little bit. Northern Arizona was leading them for a little while in that game. They've struggled a little bit with San Antonio until they were able to pull away there in the second half. So, yeah, and then obviously they kind of got boat raced by Fishers. But you take all that into consideration, it's still Arizona at the end of the day. So I like you said, it's the safest bet on the board, plus 10.5. This game will probably go down to the wire, unless Arizona has the same snap issues that New Mexico had or anything like that. I fully expect this game to be a 3-point game. It could be even a 1-point game. This will be back and forth.
Any final thoughts on the betting before we wrap this bad boy up for the day?
No, I mean, I think it all makes sense. I mean, I agree with you on Vegas and Arizona. It's interesting. I'm not 100% sold on Vegas' defense yet. I need to see a little more. I'm not sold on Arizona defense either. So,
Wait, before we go, which one of these games is Krish's belt to ass game of the week?
Oh, that's a good question. Iowa, Quad City, Iowa. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting thought.
It's going to be a good week, man. I mean, a lot of good games. Colorado Pueblo tonight. We got these IFL games coming up. It's going to be good.
You don't think New Mexico and Jacksonville can be belt to ass?
No, I think with having Arthur Jackson come in and their receiving core, Jacksonville like to kind of play a deeper style of defense. So
I mean, Jackson's only played in like one game this season for San Diego, and he got signed in the playoff run last year for San Diego too. Like, he hasn't played a lot. Not to discourage the guy or discount his credit or his ability, but like, he has not really played in the indoor football league full stop compared to other people. Like, That I don't think that's going to make necessarily a difference. Is New Mexico's offensive line and their snap issues. Look at what Jacksonville did, like to Quan Neal and the lack of the running game that Quad City had last week. If they can stop Jerome Johnson, and Vegas has already gotten that blueprint out there, that could be belt to ass for the week.
I could see that. It's just 18.5 feels like such a big number for me. And they added some offensive line help this week as well. So,
but is 1 week of practice with offensive line, does that make a difference?
A little bit, but not. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, man. I mean, I think Jimmy will have a good day on the ground, you know. I mean, he'll do what he does, and we'll see from there. But I just think 18.5 is too big.
I mean, don't think I forgot the little dig that you had earlier about the Quad City defense. Look at what Jacksonville did to Orlando, man. They can do that to New Mexico.
I don't live in the past, man. I'm focused on the bye week, and then we'll move on to Indy next week. So,
how many times did we hear about the 2021 championship this episode?
I've got the banner to prove it. It's in my airport.
Better worry about your defense before you talk about others.
All right, so we're done with betting, right?
Yeah.
All right. Do you mind pulling the screen down, sir?
Yeah.
Any final thoughts for the show today?
No, I'm excited to see the AF1 today. You know, nothing really big happened this week. Obviously, Casanova back to Albany, but you know, I don't expect him to play. I heard he's not playing this week, so just keep an eye on that. And then, yeah, just 15 days away, man. I get to see TJ in person, and it'll be fun. You know?
What are you going to look forward to after the IFL Cup? Because you've been hyping this up for months. Like once these games are done and out of the way, like what happens after that? Do you just go straight to the championship?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm putting this out there right now, and this is gonna sound so sour, but I don't care. If we somehow lose to Vegas, I'm not coming back for the IFL Cup championship. I'm not doing that. So only if we.
So what are you gonna do when they beat you?
I mean, I'll have to do a quick little handshake, and right. I'm out of that bitch.
Of course you are.
I think we have to have a bet because we were talking bets either on this show a month or so ago or maybe in the group chat. I can't remember. I think whoever wins between Vegas and Orlando, if it gets to that, they have to put the other team's banner in their airport.
Yeah. Krish has to pay for a Vegas Nighthawks banner hanging in the airport
for a location where there's no team.
No, really, in all seriousness, you know, I have a lot of respect for Coach Davis, right? You know, he's very knowledgeable about this game, a lot of respect, you know, consider him a friend, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, we got the best skill position group in the country, and he's going to learn what that looks like real quick. So that's all I really have. I'm not scared of his defense. I'm just not. So try to stop us on offense. If we score 55 points, we'll win. Easy. Because I think we can get 1 to 2 stops on them. But I'm praying, bro, I swear to God, if Jaden DeLora, I'm praying to God he signs with the UFL this week. You know, Houston has quarterback issues. Louisville has quarterback issues. Please get him to sign. During the bye week, perfect opportunity. If they roll out Avon Rucker, I promise you we're beating that team by 30 points. Promise you.
I don't think I would be that confident.
That's crazy. Yeah, bro.
That's just me personally, but that we'll see. But anyway,
good.
Anyway, thank you all for tuning in today. It's been a long show. We're gonna work on condensing this in the future. We had a lot of guests today. We still have an interview that we're going to drop right now with Jim Britton, the head coach of the Eau Claire Axemen. So if you are looking to learn some more about the Axemen, we have that for you. So without further ado, thank you guys all for tuning in. We appreciate you. And thank you all for the comments. As always, I know I personally look forward to Saturday morning every week for this show because, much like Joe said, I enjoy the guys I work with. We legitimately talk to each other all week long. We keep each other informed about the stories coming up. We do a lot of research on all these topics before we talk about them. We even do some research on the guests before they come on, so we put a lot of effort into this because we love it. So we really appreciate everybody who supports us in this because it helps us do what we love. So on that note, thank you guys all for tuning in and enjoy this interview that our A team, TJ and LeCedric, knocked out about a month ago now. So it's a little dated, but it'll still be a great one.
Yep, there we go. How's it going, guys? I am Cedric, the bus driver, 303 bus driver Green over here at Shady Sports Network, joined by my co-host TJ. What's up, TJ?
Hey, how's it going?
It is going great. It is going great. We have a great one for you tonight, guys. We have head coach of the Eau Claire Axemen, Coach Jim Britton. Like the country, but spelled different, as he says. So it'll be great to talk to him tonight, as we do over here in Shady Sports Fashion. We got some good questions for you guys, some good information, and hopefully bring a few more fans to the Axemen. Right? That's what we're here to do. So without further ado, Coach Jim, I'll let you go ahead and do a quick introduction on yourself, and then we'll go ahead and get into some questions.
Okay. Again, my name is Jim, and my nickname is Britt, like my grandfather's. Britton, and I'm the new head coach of the Eau Claire Axemen. I was the assistant head coach last year. This will be my 46th year of coaching football. I've coached. I was a former Phi-Ed teacher, health teacher, and athletic director. I coached 8th grade football. Then I went to freshman, assistant varsity, and then I've just been assistant varsity for, would be 43 years, I think it was. And so this is my first head coaching job. And I'm super excited about it. I've waited forever. And it's just a great way for me to cap my career whenever that career ends and I hang up my whistle and my cleats. But yeah, I also coach 8th grade now. I was a head girls basketball coach, coach college baseball, and high school baseball. I've been head coach. But now it's 8th grade, middle school basketball. I love it. Pass on the wisdom. And then I'll be back, coach. I took a year off last fall, and I'm back at the local high school in town here. We have 2 of them, and I'm going to be the D-line coach again. Linebacker coach, perhaps, and perhaps even the JV head coach. And that will happen immediately after this season is done. So it's nothing different for me. I've been coaching since I was 18, 19 years old. And so this is nothing new. I've worked every summer since college, and it's not a job because it's a passion. And so it's never work. It's never a dull moment. And now 38 years of teaching. I'm now teaching with another teacher, and we teach autistic kids within the public school. And it's just it's such a rewarding job because you get to see the different side of humanity, and the teachers that I'm working with doing an amazing job, and the coaches I have hired for this staff are second to none, and I think we're going to have a great season.
Wow. Dang, man, you are a jack of all trades. What do you not, coach? That's amazing. When you sleep,
yeah. I actually only get about 4 or 5 hours sleep every night. That's the way it's always been. That's my algorithm, I guess.
Okay.
But I always go. I work every summer. I'm usually helping out the school mowing or whatever. And this year might be different because they're cutting back on staff because of the budget deficits, which is throughout the country. And that's okay. If I don't work this summer, that'd be the first summer I haven't worked since I was 14. So I just love to work, and that's just my work ethic. And the guys I've hired on my staff are just like me. So we fit like a hand in a glove.
Okay. Well, what led you to indoor football? Specifically, what led you to the Axemen?
Well, I had sent about 4 or 5 years ago, because my window, as you get older, your window closes a lot sooner. And I had applied just thinking maybe like a scout for NFL teams. And I had applied to the Packers. And Brian Gutekunst, the GM, wrote back and said, well, we just don't have any positions at this time. And so I've applied at some other NFL teams, just 2, but of course it's a dog eat dog world there. And then our previous owners, the female was a former student of mine, and then her partner, because they're not married, bought the team last year, and then they brought me on in November as assistant head coach. And that was kind of how I got in it. We have what's called Country Jam and here and Summer Jam, and so that's a big country music festival. And so Tim Brown was there, and I just really wanted to go meet Tim Brown and have him sign my Raiders helmet. I'm a huge Packer fan. We have season tickets, etc. And there's a long story history there too that I could go into, but we don't have time for that. But I really wanted to get his autograph and sign my helmet, which he did. And then I talked about, hey, how do I get into coaching at this level? And one thing led to another. And then our previous owners bought the team. And then they called me in November, and I came on as assistant head coach. And then our head coach, who's
You cut out, Coach. Can you hear him, TJ?
No.
Coach, you cut out. Hold on.
he interviewed me and said it'd only be about a half hour, and we ended up being almost a 2-hour phone call. And from there, he called me about a week later and said, well, you're going to be the head coach, and you were highly recommended by the former coach and players. And so that's how it came to be.
Cut out for a moment there, but I think
I'm sorry.
you completed. I think I can't even. Do you know when he cut out, TJ? I think I kind of lost it. It was shortly after you said you talked. The owners ended up buying the team.
Oh yeah, the league owner. Well, our former players or former owners bought the team, and they were bringing the TAL to Eau Claire, and I went just to go to meet Tim Brown. That was my only I guess mission, because I wanted him to sign my Raiders helmet, because that's my second favorite team. Obviously the Packers are one. But I did, and then I talked to a Tommy Beniznio, who lives in Texas, and I talked to him about coaching, and then he in turn talked to our previous owners, and she was a former student of mine, and that's how we got connected. And then Tay left to go to the Pueblo Punishers, and then I put my hat in the ring here. And then our owner of the league and owner of our team currently, Jeff Holmes, interviewed me. That went for like an hour and a half, hour 45-minute interview. It was only supposed to be a half hour. And a week later, he called and he said he had glowing reviews from Tay and from the players. So he said, how would you like to be the head coach of the Eau Claire Axemen? And I said, I'll jump at the chance. I'd be honored. And so that's where we are today.
Nice. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Not what you know is about who you know, right? Sometimes. And
yeah,
obviously what you know too. I mean, add it
Yeah.
to it. Sorry, don't let it take away from that. It's amazing.
No, and I tell my players this all the time because we're in our discussions yet and before our Zoom meetings, and I've always told them egos are left at the door. If that's the case, it's we and it's us. And if you're not with that, then you're not involved with our culture, then you're not welcome on this team, or our team is not a good fit for you. And so the guys that we've got coming into camp have bought in so far. And Tay is out at Pueblo, Colorado with the Pueblo Punishers, and he and I talk pretty frequently, almost daily, but not all the time when he's busy or I'm busy. But we have a great relationship, and he's going to go. He's almost three times or three decades at least younger than I am, but he's got a bright.
Cut out again.
Nope. Cut out again.
Keep. I guess you kind of. So, what excites you most about the growth of the TAL of this league?
Because we went
this season.
I just think the different teams and the different talent around. So we added Grand Island, Nebraska. We lost the Duluth Harbor Monsters, so they jumped another league to another league, which is totally fine. So we picked up Grand Island, Nebraska. We have the Ozark Lunkers, which is kind of like it'll be our first game, but it's like a preseason game because they're not in our league. They're in the South. Then there's Monroe, Louisiana, Memphis, Hot Springs, Arkansas, the Iowa Woo, and the St. Joseph Goats. So there's there's 8 teams now, and they're trying to, I think, build by 2 or 4 teams every year. I don't know how big that gets, but that's what's exciting because and guys think, oh man, I got to get to the NFL like right now. And I always tell these guys, keep your head up, keep your nose to the grindstone, watch film, and there's always somebody out there watching it. It doesn't matter if you're D1, D2, D3, JUCO. It does not matter. If you're good enough and you have good film, they're going to find you. And that's our job as coaches here at this level, is to get them to that next level. Maybe it's a level or 2 above us, or the USFL, the XFL, or NFL. And that's my job, or our job, I should say, not my. Our job as coaches is to get them prepared not only for football and other levels, but for life. And that's the most important thing. Family, faith, love, and that's our 3 pillars of our culture.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it before about, just the passion that you have for the sport. What about it is with that passion that's kept you in this game for so long? Is it, mainly having a lot of like high school experience with coaching, so you can kind of help them mature and grow and teach them life lessons, things like that? What keeps you going in it?
That's it, and relationships. And I've always felt this as a cornerstone too. And my mother and father have since passed, but my dad was always, you work an honest day for an honest wage, and you just have to have a work ethic more important than anything. And these guys come in and they're new, and some are 22 and some are a little older. We've got one guy on our team who teaches, and I've coached with him. He's now going to be at the rival high school I coach at, which will be fun. And he's 36, but it doesn't matter if you're 22, you're 36. I've lived long enough and have enough wisdom, I think, and lived such a blessed life. And I've experienced a lot of heartache and adversity, but yet been very blessed as well. And so I think passing on that knowledge, but the relationships that we build, and if they can become good citizens, good sons, good brothers, good relatives, and great fathers, if that comes to be, then we have done our job. As long as they're good citizens, and they love each other, that's the most important lesson I think we can get. Be humble and kind.
That's a good lesson. It's good lessons. Well, with the rosters changing so quickly in indoor football, how do you plan to build that trust in the players in such a short time and
Well,
instill those? Go ahead.
yeah. Well, and I put out when I first took this job, I have it's like a beginning. I have a little speech, I guess, that I will give to the players when we're all there, and my expectations, and our coaching staff's expectations, and what they expect from their head coach. And I just, I don't know, I just feel that the way I coach, because I treat them as individuals, number one, because everybody's got a different personality, everybody comes from a different background. This one may have this battle and this one has this battle. It's going to be an open relationship to where guys can call any one of our coaches at any time, whether it's good or bad, and we're going to be there. And that's that love pillar. And I think that's how I build trust, because I'm honest and I'm upfront. And that's what I picked in my coaches. And if they can rely or look up to me and our coaching staff, then that trust is, I mean, being upfront and honest is the best way, I think, for communication. And then they can build that trust right from the get go. And I've had guys calling me that had played last year that want to come back this year. But being upfront and honest, nothing is a given. Everything has to be done on your controllables, what we can control. Don't worry about outside noise, but can you give me your effort and your attitude? If I have that, then we can work. And that's what our goal is going to be. Attitude, effort, control, we can control. Outside noise, we can't control about any of that anyway. So all that outside noise doesn't mean anything anyway. So we just control what's inside our building, our team, and that's what we focus on.
What are, after last season, obviously not having the season record wise that you would have liked, what are some things that you've either already done or plan to do differently than maybe last year's teams did to equal into better success on the field for this year?
Well, just getting from the get-go, and nothing against Tay at all, because I love Tay to death, like he's a brother, and we talk each other about that all the time, and we always say we love each other after every conversation. But I think my style is different than Tay's, and that's totally okay. And this is the kind of a crazy part, but before every game, every practice, didn't matter. Before practice, during the game, after the game, I gave every guy a hug and told them I loved them. And that has resonated, because sometimes guys don't hear that, and it's kind of like faux pas. Oh, geez, you shouldn't say that. I'm the exact opposite. I think we should. And that's how we get that buy-in. And I've got guys that love our pillars of culture, and I think that's going to be a little bit different, because we had a lot of rookies last year and just guys learning the game and how it's played, and that included me. Tay had more experience than I did. Even though he was younger, he had more experience in the Arena League because he'd been in there 2 or 3 years. And that was my first year in Arena. Now 11 on 11, I can handle that and do that in my sleep. But 7 on 7 was totally different, and the rules were different. So I had to learn too. So it was a learning curve for me. And this year, having an offensive coordinator is going to help, because Tay had to I did special teams and D-line and O-line. And Tay did offense, defense. And he had a lot of pressure being new here and being our first year. So, just being upfront, forthright, and just having these guys buy in that's been the entire different thing. And some of the guys I know, some guys I don't, and those relationships will get built from day one.
So you said you were also coaching 8th grade football right now too. Do you find it difficult to adjust between coaching 11 on 11 outdoor 8th grade football compared to coaching 7 on 7 professional Arena League football?
Yeah. Now 8th grade football was a long time ago, so I gotta backtrack a little bit. I coach 8th grade boys and girls basketball.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. Totally okay. But I've coached at all levels, and I got to go back to your question again. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, do you find it different, I guess, evaluating talent or changing the way you approach how you coach the game or the players?
Actually, no. I am the same. Well, different because I've aged, obviously, and learned. When I first started out coaching freshman football, and I was fiery and I was young, and I would holler and scream and throw things in the locker room if I was mad at halftime. And then I would give myself like a headache. It was almost like I was getting myself ill. And finally, it clicked, and I talked to my dad with his wisdom. And he said, Jim, you just got to back off. The less you say, the more curious they are. And then when you talk, they will listen. And that clicked. And when that clicked for me, just like I'm talking to you guys, that's how I coach. Now, do I get fire in my belly and get on guys? Yes, I do. Whether it's 8th grade, whether it's freshman, high school, or now professional, I can get on guys, but 99% of the time, I'm talking to them just like I'm talking to you. And I feel rather than talking over them and hollering and screaming and they panic or deer in the headlights look, by me talking to them, they don't panic. And that's the way I coach high school. That's the way I'm coaching these guys. And I think I get the most out of them because they're not scared. They're afraid that they're going to get chewed out. And sometimes they do. But when I get ticked and they get chewed out, oh man, coach is really PO'd. Well, that's the other side that they don't always see. And I don't show that very often. That does not happen very often at all. But I think being that reserved, it doesn't create panic, and guys are willing to play because they already know if they screwed up, they already know that, and I don't need to pile on. So mine has always been, I'm just talking like I am talking to you two, and we go from there.
I love that. um, you know, from starting out coaching at a young age, did you always want to be kind of that player's coach mentality, or is that just, kind of just the personality fit your coaching style?
It's a little bit of both. I played college ball. I played for a year, and it was in 1982. I played at Wartburg College, played wide receiver. We were number one in the country in D3, and we ended up losing in the Unidome in Waterloo. I think it was St. Bishop's out of Texas or whatever. Our quarterback was All-American. His brother was an All-American who was my roommate. And then we had another guy that was an All-American running back who never played a high school sport. And he was started in basketball, football, and baseball at Wartburg. And he was a number one runner in the country. And then he tore his knee up, and then that was at the last game before our game. And our game was to go to the Alonzo Stagg Bowl, whoever won. And we lost, and so that gave me a renewed passion because I had a great coach. He was in the Iowa Hall of Fame. I've coached my high school coach, who gave me my first job right out of high school, is a Wisconsin Football Coaches Hall of Famer. And then when I eventually went to Chippewa Falls, our head coach, Chuck Rakovich, great guy, is in the Wisconsin High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame and now the National Coaches Hall of Fame. And so he gave me a lot of direction. And the guy that I'm super close with, and he's retired now, his name is Ed Watkins. He's the one that really taught me about the game. And I had to break that. He told me how to break down film, and I'm OCD anyway. And so he really helped me learn the game. And I give all the credit in the world to not only the head coaches that I coached for and played for, but Ed Watkins was just a huge inspiration to me. And he kind of got me on this track, and I kind of live vicariously through Ed.
Nice. That's a nice little walk down
memory
lane right there. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, speaking of film study, which do you emphasize more when dealing with your players? Do you prefer for them to be big on film study? Do you prefer for walkthroughs, live reps? What's your forte when preparing for a game?
Well, first off, we watch film and we break it down, and we will have, I should say. And I do it like high school. We go by position. So I'm D-line coach, so I have nose to tackles to ends. And so we have huddle. And so we break down film by position. And I don't know as if we'll do, because we're only 7-on-7. So that's pretty legit. It's pretty easy in that sense. But they have to be a student of the game. We had guys last year, and it's no fault of Tays. We would have guys that were required to bring paper and a pen or pencil, and there'd be guys that are writing down constantly. Other guys, well, like, I think I know that. Well, and then they screw up in the game, then they get chewed out, and then they wonder why. So film studies got to be first and foremost. So we know at least we kind of have an idea what they're doing. And then we take that film and then we process that, put it down on paper. Then we do Skelly, running reps with offense and defensive sets. And then we rep it and we rep it and we rep it. And then when it comes time to, and we're going to practice super hard. And I've always said Monday through, if it's high school, Monday through Thursday, we're kicking tail. So Friday nights are easy. That's the fun part. That's where we get to showcase. And it's going to be the same thing with this team. It's going to be Monday through Friday. We're repping and watching film constantly. And then Saturday, that's your showcase. And I also tell the guys that, hey, you are putting in 16 hours of work or more. And that's just in practice time, 2 hours each. You're putting in 16 hours plus, and you're only playing for 2.5, 3 hours of real work. So the trade-off is you're having fun here, but if we practice hard and go hard, then anything that comes up on Saturday night or Friday night in high school is, that's just all icing on a cake.
All right. Well, we don't want to keep you too long. So I just have one more question for you.
Okay. Hey, and I'm good too, so I'm free. So if you want to go longer, that's fine with me.
Oh, all right. Um, speaking more on the Arena League, you what is it about it that makes it so different in terms of just visibility and stability to the media and fan base? Because with obviously there's so many different leagues out there, and all the time you're hearing, you can hear something negative about it, but you never really hear anything negative about the Arena League. It's like everything that they do is just well thought out, well planned. What makes the TAL kind of stand out in that regard?
Well, I think you have, and I haven't met the other coaches other than a couple, I guess, because they're new teams. But I think the stability is generally, and hopefully it's not. It's like the NFL. Somebody gets fired or let go. It's like a revolving door, and they're with some other team. Where here and it happens here too. But the stability, I think, and with us being our second year, um, people we didn't I say we didn't handle it the way we should. I thought, and this is just me personally, I thought ticket prices were too high and they didn't follow the model that our league owner had set up. Had they done that and been less, I got to be politically correct here, but being or following a guideline when it's new, that gives you your best chance of not only winning, but keeping a stronghold and a footing in the community. And we missed the boat a little bit on that. And so this year, up leading until, and I teach full time till 3 o'clock every day. And so, like the last 2 or 3 weeks since basketball got over, I'm out every day after school trying to get sponsorships. So that part is difficult because the way the economy is, and they get hit with everything and inundated with a lot of different causes, which are all important. None is any more important than the other. That part can be difficult, but trying to get people on board to reevaluate us because things didn't go well as far as, and we had a lot of adversity that way. But trying to be a firefighter and putting out those fires and trying to reignite people and getting them back into the fold, it's difficult. But it's like Rome. If you build it, they will come, and that's what we're trying to do. And we have new media now, and things are out there, and people are starting to, and ticket prices are better and more affordable. And Eau Claire is a blue collar town. I mean, you have every gamut of economic success or economic depression. And so it's a very fine line. You try to make it affordable for those that might not be economically feasible and can't do it all the time. And then you got the middle income, and then you got the upper income. And so you got to try to meld all three of those together. But I think if we have a good product on the field, which we will this year, they're going to come. And their ticket prices and ticket sales are are starting to go. And so, yeah, I think if we have that good product, if their people are going to come, they're going to be knocking down the stadium doors to get a ticket.
I believe you. I mean, you guys already have a decent following, and I mean, it sounds like you're pretty enshrined in your community, deeply, deeply entrenched in it. So, you already have that on lock. Um, are you guys doing tryouts still for your team? If so, do you have a date? And yeah, I'll just go from there.
Okay, so we had tryout in February and March,
Okay.
and those are now done. Now there'll be, like I said, there are a couple players while we were making this, we're making phone calls, and I talked to a couple more. They will come in for a chance to compete, and again, I've all told them up front, there's nothing given. Effort and attitude is where it's going to get you to make this team. And so we'll have guys coming. I've got a guy coming from Southern California, guy I talked to tonight just before I came on here, is coming in from Orlando, Florida. And so a lot of these guys just want to continue playing football. And as you guys probably know, you can play baseball, softball, soccer, basketball. You can play all those golf. You can play all those recreational sports. But when your football career is over, it's done. You can't, yeah, you might be able to play old man's league or flag, but flag football appears great for young kids, but there's no older gentlemen playing. So, yeah, football is a brutal sport, not only physically and mentally, but it's when you got to hang up your cleats. That's a very tough thing to take. And I've retired twice from teaching, and I'm back into it. There's a draw and there's a pull, because you just don't want it to end. And I know that within the next couple, 3 years, I'm going to retire. And I still might coach football, and hopefully I'm still here to be able to do that. But, and like you said, being entrenched in the community, I've been here now 30 years, and my hometown is about 20 miles south of here. And so, yeah, it's my community. It's going to be our community. We're involved in the community. So, yeah, just being able to be entrenched in the community and doing community service, that's what the people see, and that's what we're all about. That's our culture. And so I think if we follow that family, faith, and love, and we're involved in the community and we're community servants, it's going to take us a lot further than any championship or any league standing championship. It goes far beyond that. It's tentacles like none other. And again, if we're humble and kind, and these kids look up to our players, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, but you still want to get the championships too, though.
Oh,
So
you bet. And that's
can't count
what we're
that out
planning on.
either.
Exactly.
Do you have so you said tickets are going on sale. Can you tell us where to get the tickets? And
Yep. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You go ahead. Actually, tell us where to get the tickets. I forgot what else I was gonna say.
Okay. They would be. I think they can go to the. I think it's the sonatag.com, I believe. They can get them there, or they can go to ecaxmanfootball.com, I believe. To be honest with you, I'm never on there, so I don't. But I think that's correct. And they can always call the Sonatag Center, and that's a direct line to where they can get tickets as well.
Cool. And that's Axman with an AXE.
EMEN. Yep. And then we're also in talks with some local school districts, the districts I taught at, Chippewa and Eau Claire. Altoona, a former teacher of mine, is the superintendent there. So we're going to work there. And then another superintendent I know in a smaller little school district called Elk Mound. We're going to try to do free tickets for kids from kindergarten through 8th grade. And then their parents would buy a ticket for $20. And then the parent and the child would get in free. And then it'd be first come, first serve on those. We have our first game is family appreciation night. And if that goes extremely well, then our interim president is going to extend that for another 2 or 3 games, I think.
Awesome. Is there before we get out of here any other shout outs you wanna shout out? Any other causes you want to tell us about?
Well, I guess we are having. I went to the local. Well, my father was a veteran, and so he never talked about the war until a couple of days before he passed. But in fact, I just got a call today from the gentleman that's heading out to Utah to visit his son, or Montana, and he's with the local American Legion downtown. So they have an honor guard coming. We have the National Guard coming for one, and then VFW, American Legion. So our 4 home games are going to be covered by veterans, and we'll be honoring them at the beginning of the game. And so for me, that's a huge honor for me. And so those guys, I talked to him tonight, and so those guys are going to be coming into the locker room before the game. So we get a chance to honor them before they get honored out there. So, and that's a huge cause for me, and our homeless population. So there's a lot of different causes out there, and the homeless population, homeless kids for school, and making sure kids have a good night's sleep, got food in their belly. Those are all causes, no different than any other team, but those are really close to my heart, and especially cancer, pancreatic cancer, which took my father and my mother.
I'm really sorry to hear that for your loss, but thank
That's
you
life.
for your father's service. That's
Yeah.
amazing, man. I actually run a veteran service center here in Denver myself.
Sweet.
So I am all for all of that. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us, Coach Britt. TJ, you got anything before we get out of here, man?
I do have. I may have fibbed. I do have one more quick question.
Yep.
How were you, and how long were you a fan of arena football before signing on with the TAL?
To be honest with you, I never even heard of it until it came to Eau Claire, and it's like, what is this? And then I find out we have dasher boards because I love hockey, and we have dasher boards, and we have a smaller field, and it's for contacts. Like what? And so I kind of jumped in the deep end without even really knowing about it, and I was so busy with football, high school, I didn't even think about it, or basketball. I didn't even think about it. And then once I got to see it and I got to be around it, it is so exciting because it's fast action. And you only get 20 seconds between plays. So it was totally different than the 11-on-11 game. And it's so fast paced. So it got me so excited. It kind of reinvigorated me because you can get complacent in coaching. And even though I love it, I was starting to get that. And this kind of reinvigorated it. So now when I transfer that from my season to high school, it's like I'm just as hyped now for my season to start, and then after that to go into the high school football season is going to be awesome. Then I get 2 weeks off, and then I'm in from November to March for basketball. So I only get about 6 weeks vacation, and I don't travel a lot right now until I retire. But yeah, this is super exciting, and to be asked and to be honored to be a head coach at this age, it's just so invigorating, and the guys know my passion. The guys that have played for me know my passion, and the coaches around me, and you could ask any one of them and they'll tell you exactly what I just told you. And in fact, at Memorial, where I'm going to be coaching, the coaches have got together and said, hey, we need to get Britt back. And so they approached me, and I had agreed 3 weeks ago that, yeah, I'll come back. So I missed that part. And so, yeah, that's invigorating, and you feel wanted. And so, yeah, I'm humbled. I never take credit. It's always the people around me that got me to where I am. And so you got to give those guys credit. And it doesn't matter if you are a food service worker, custodian, security guard, ticket taker, all those people that make this happen all have to be recognized before me. Even though I'm the head coach, those people got to get the credit before I do. And that's the way I've always been.
Nice. I think
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, I think you proved it with your longevity too. You don't stick around, especially in something like coaching where it's almost voluntary at sometimes for that long if you're not doing something right. So Coach
No.
Brett, again, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us. Good luck this season with the Eau Claire Axemen. You're welcome on whenever. Please, if you want to come on to talk about the game you had the week before, let us know. We'd love to have you on. You're always welcome back here on Shady Sports Network.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys extending the offer, and this was a pleasure. I don't do a lot of interviews. I do a couple, I guess, on radio now, but you guys let me know, or I can text you and just say, hey, you want to go on and talk about our game? I'd like to do it weekly if that's okay with you guys.
I was gonna say, a weekly show would be awesome too. I mean, I'm sure, TJ, I'm sure we can get on board and we can get something planned. I'd be all for it for sure.
Yeah.
I know we had one guy that was with the network. He's all about your team, so I'm sure, like with your fan base, we could definitely get something going.
Yeah. Now, do you know, or can't you divulge the source? Do you know who that is?
Yo, what's good? Cedric the bus driver here. I don't know about you guys, but I know what I will be doing every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Thursday nights too. I'll be over at Shady Sports Network, so catch up with me. Holla at your boy.